Why?
Like, oh. No, you can keep talking.
We're in the dark.
You just can't. We're just
in the dark.
So I can go over here, and people know that we're live. So I can go here, and I can hit this one. And I can hit this one where Johnny DRC
my phone
said,
just reminded me.
He said, "I'll be right back." And then Night Train Mike said he was waiting. And then see, you posted, "This is going to be awesome," and you posted your channel. And then Thomas, he's like, "Yeah." So that's very cool. And see, we already got 8 people in here, and I haven't really even started the intro yet. But I
can hear us on the stream on YouTube. I heard us.
Yeah, that's what we always go with a hot mic before.
Oh,
yeah, and
then which is why everyone's quiet.
Yeah, normally, I mean, if it's just me, Ron, and we just start raging. We're like,
Kovaction rules. There, Kovaction.
Oh, okay. Yes, Ron, I totally understand those second shot day blues, man. So yeah, Ron's on his second day shot.
I have no headache or my arm's not really that sore, but I'm just like overly tired.
Yeah. I'm totally.
I think that's normal with the 2-shot vaccine.
So I don't have to type to Thomas.
Yeah, well, they were telling me I could have fever and a really sore arm and flu-like symptoms, but I just have like tiredness.
That's good.
That's what my mother-in-law had.
Well, I guess that's about time. We got some people rolling in here. I guess it's about time. I'm gonna hit the timer. We'll get the show rolling. Very funny, Sean. Look what I did. Drop the ball. Look at this. Like a brain dead. Why am I not getting this? I should be in here. Wait a minute. What's going on? What's happening? Something's not working here. Let me try this one. Wait a minute. What's going on? I'm trying to get it working. Please bear with me. What's going on? Ah, look at that. Like a ding dong. I was pressing the wrong button. Let me fix this. Oh, wrong one. That one. Hey, there we go. Much better, much better, much better. Okay, welcome to Drone Therapy Season 5, Episode 9, Kovaction Droneography and FlytZone Vids. FlytZone Vids happen to be here in Seattle where I'm at. Kovaction is going to tell us more about his channel in just a moment. We will bring them in without further ado. First, Chuck from Kovac.
Hey, how you guys
Good
doing?
to have you. Tell us where you're from, Chuck, and just a tiny bit about your channel.
I'm from Syracuse, New York, and my channel is mostly cinematic footage, but I've been breaking out into actually this thing.
Ooh,
Yeah,
everybody's
I'll be
teasing.
reviewing this thing. I'm going to do reviews, and the FPV is going to be my starter. So hopefully they'll be enjoyable.
Oh, very cool, very
yeah,
cool.
I've been doing a lot of travel videos and stuff with the wife and vlogs and things. And
we'll kind of try to combine all that. And I don't want to hold it up any further. I'm going to bring Dawn from FlytZone. Dawn, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your channel, real quick.
Well, like you said, I'm here in Seattle too, like you, and basically, I started flying drones just just a while back, not too far back. I would say, what's it in March? It's already March.
Yeah.
I would say 8 months ago. That's when I started, really.
Wow, yeah.
And you've already got your 107.
And I already got my 107, and it's going to go a lot further than that. But mostly, I just love flying. I've been flying planes and helos model, that is, for years now. And that's pretty much, I just take, like Chuck here, I like to do cinematic travel videos, of landscapes and stuff like that.
Well, that's great. Both of you gentlemen have well, as you can see, we have a surprise guest, and he is also with us. And without further ado, I'm going to pop everybody else in. Ron's here, John's here. Everybody's kind of in la land over the FPV drone. I know that we were trying to get you all in, and I'm very glad to have you.
I'm still within line of sight. Okay.
You're still within line of sight, John. That's right. You're all good,
thing, because the FAA might get
I wish I could control your drone from here, though. Can I assume control from the United States?
John Cuppi's my sponsor.
I'm jealous. I haven't done anything for this yet.
Not happening.
Watch out. Watch out.
Oh, okay. That's another $1,200. Well, hang on.
Sean's drone.
I'm FPV now. I need to just do this. Don't I? I'm FPV now. I need to just leave them there for the rest of the night.
All right, let me get. Okay, y'all just keep talking, and I'm going to get some people in. I'm going to show some stuff real quick.
Do I have to get a tattoo now?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. You might have to. You might have to.
I do have a baseball cap that I can.
Have you actually flown it, Sean?
No.
Baseball cap. Yep.
I've turned it on. I haven't even updated it yet. I did a live unboxing earlier on the channel, so I haven't had a chance to play with it today. I even left the cellophane wrap on it for the unboxing so that everyone could see my childish reaction.
Fantastic.
And yeah, it was like a 7-year-old at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you've never done an unboxing video before and you're getting this drone, do an unboxing video.
Hey, Sean.
I was going to invite Henry just to bash on you, Chuck.
Oh,
I was going to.
We're buds.
Henry,
we're droning on.
Go ahead.
We're droning on buds. You'll never get us. We're like, it's solidarity, man.
No. You okay? I meant poke at you, and all good fun. I didn't mean bash as in try to. I didn't mean bash as in try to trash you or anything like that.
He won't.
Starting trouble again, Bill.
Or posse.
Yeah,
they poke at him constantly on there, man. I thought he might want a chance to get back.
Sean, I think you should do a power on that FPV drone again. That's such badass.
I'm raising my hand. I want to ask Sean a question.
I love the sound when he does that.
Sean, did you do the firmware update on that yet?
No.
I heard it. Wait, do that again. I'm sorry I interrupted that. That's a shame.
Okay, all you guys go smoke a cigarette. Go smoke a cigarette now. Go smoke.
One more time.
This is really all the only reason I want the drone. I'm just going to keep charging it up and turning it on and off.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so epic. I want mine now.
It is. I know.
So that's epic. No, I wanted to ask you if you did the firmware update because Keith at the K-Spot said that it takes 30 minutes. So
yeah, no, I haven't. But yeah, Ian in London, another British YouTuber, has just put his video out, and he said make sure you charge everything before you do the firmware updates because it's a long job.
Yeah.
You know, if you self-build your own drone, you can actually customize the startup tone to pretty much whatever you want it to be.
Okay, so sorry, can we just just one?
Sounds like it's gonna have a meltdown.
There you go.
Is that the same one that you did on?
Just 1 second. 1 second.
Yes.
Okay, so we started the show about 6 minutes ago. So it was 6 minutes before the true FPV guy started hating on the DJI. I think that's a world record today. Actually, the amount of hate it's been getting.
It's not. I don't hate it. I just don't want it.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, I mean, the more I saw those pictures today of busted up drones, I was just like,
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think I would have got it. Obviously, I'm lucky enough to have a sponsor that's helped us, but and also I think if it wasn't for the channel as well, because I think I'm going to do the whole Canon old fat camera drone guy fly FPV. It's probably going to be a very short video. But you know, I thought it would be a bit of fun for the channel. So yeah, hopefully it survives its first few flights.
I've got a few things to do with mine. Got plans.
Henry, did Henry get one?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I mean, look, I think you'd be fine as long as you don't just put it into acro mode immediately and try to, you know, go balls to the wall with it. It seems to be pretty safe in the assisted mode.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually even going to fly it with a tablet the first couple of times in literally the base mode, and just get the flight dynamics down a little bit in the very, very safe mode, and just get used to that a couple of times, and then step up, and because again, as I've said before, I've never worn goggles before, so yeah, it's going to be good fun.
We need to read these.
Nah.
Like Billy Kyle described it as like laddering. They kind of set it up where you just take one other step and then take another step, and then you can
take one step, take another step, and then you pay another $1,400. Yeah, that's
that's how it works. Yeah, poor Mary.
Okay.
He's dying. The FPV drones.
We should all hide below our cameras when Bill comes back, so he thinks we're all.
It'd be awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So who in the set tonight has the FPV drone? Chuck, do you have it?
I only have the motion right now. The drone shows up tomorrow, and then the Fly More shows up on like Saturday. So it's a 3-day extravaganza.
Don, do you have it?
No, I don't, but I'm planning to get it.
It's on the way. It's on the way?
No, it's not even on the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my wife will kill me if it's on the way.
I understand.
Well, you're like me, man. You're like me. I'm like, because here's the thing. I'm thinking, do I want the Mavic 3 or whatever they're going to call it? Okay, and that I'm being honest with you, think it's going to cost $2,000 without the Fly More. I think the Fly More is going to be like $2,400 after that.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, you know, it's going to be hard enough for me to beg my way into that one, and it's going to be loaded for bear. It's going to be loaded for bear.
Yeah.
Well, they better have something.
The price of this one definitely dictates what that next drone will be. I completely agree with you. It's going to be awesome, and we're all going to have to, like, you know, sell children and things to get one, because I think we're all going to have one.
The Mavic 2 market's certainly going to get saturated in a hurry.
I'll be honest with you. I think that the Mavic 2 Pro is going to be a collector's item. Ethan Mitchell, good to have you, brother.
Hello,
Ethan.
And so here's a true FPVer. So that's what I said. I want to go for it, man. Y'all let loose. I want to hear it. I want to hear pros and cons right now. And I'm going to click comments.
Pros and cons of the FPV drones that we're on about.
You're breaking up, Ethan.
You were breaking up.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go.
There we go.
That's better.
Yeah.
So what's going on, everybody?
Well, we're talking about that new FPV drone, and Bill brought up the Mavic 3 and the high prices of the drones these days. Ethan, what's your impressions of the
I gotta say one thing.
FPV drone now that we know all the specs?
I gotta say one thing really quick before Ethan starts. Sean started it twice, and everybody left and smoked.
Well, I think it's really cool.
But do you want one? Are you gonna get one?
I might have one on the way.
Wow.
How much do you think Nurk doing his video on one has helped it into, because I know there's a significant amount of not hate but of the FP community that just do not want this drone, but I'm wondering if the Nurk video helped as well, from the point of view of he did give it a good thrashing.
He did.
I think it's got its place. I think it actually does a lot more than what I thought it was going to be able to do. And I think definitely it could have the potential to be really awesome. But I think they need to work on some things. The tune obviously needs some work. Anybody that flies FPV knows that tuning is like almost is everything how your quad flies, and that really dictates how you can control it. It gives you, a really well-tuned quad gives you that confidence to really fly into like crazy spots. But what's surprising me is, I guess it's not surprising, but the durability seems to be severely lacking.
Yeah, I think that would be better too.
I'm a little worried about the arms snapping off because I saw they were fastened with screws, and I was hoping they were like little kind of quick connectors. Well, inside of there, and I believe that may not be the case.
Looks like the guy that tore it down looks like you got it's soldered. All the motors are soldered to the Form 1 ESC. So
all they had to do was put connectors in there, and would have been like easy to change the arms.
Right. So, but I mean, every crash that I've ever had where something broke, it was always one of the front arms, like almost always. So I'm really not sure why that. I mean, I think I know why they went this route. They want it to look good, and it's kind of like job security. The more they break, the more that they can keep on making parts and making money. So
I guess, but they're trying to bring in people like me who are Mavic pilots forever and ever, and that's what got me into the hobby to begin with, was the Mavic foldable, so I could take it on vacation with me and capture stuff. But
sure, yeah.
So then to be able to fly FPV and get like cinematic stuff, but not have the FPV on the Mavic 2 is just. It's horrible. Things like all D.
Oh yeah.
So this will allow me as a Mavic pilot to get stuff that's very
adjust
cinematic and smooth, and that's what I want out of the thing.
Right. And you'll get that, with this, but like it's to a point, right? You're not going to be flying. You're not going to be flying through a bando into tight spaces with this thing.
You can do minor tuning, right? You can do minor tuning. Right?
No, you can only change the rates. That's it.
Okay,
which is not really tuning.
Well, okay.
Yeah, the rates are just kind of like how fast it moves. It's kind of like tailored to how you move the sticks. PID tuning is basically how it tracks, and like when you go inverted, like if it does this stuff, and you could see in a lot of those videos, it was like doing a lot of that a lot. So
it's
I hope they can fix it.
Yeah, it had a lot of prop wash, but I don't know. See, from what I've heard, is it feels heavy. It feels really heavy.
Well, it is heavy
flying.
For FPV.
Some have referred to it as like a potato.
It is. But again,
what the hell?
Demographic is.
Are you not coming in?
Truly...
Are you not coming in? I guess he's staying at home and he's chilling out.
Actually, I think the favorite thing that I think a lot of people are going to use the most on this is going to be the Mavic mode, but the sport Mavic mode where it mixes 100%. The yaw and the roll.
Right. Yeah,
but you know what's funny? The Paradenofi could do that.
800 grams. 800 grams.
Yeah, it's 795.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. So that pitch and roll thing, or that integrated yaw.
Yeah,
the Paradenofi could do that like a year ago.
Barbell demonstrated that, and I thought that was interesting.
I like the way it rolls. I think it's super buttery and smooth. Unlike I've watched a lot of FPV stuff.
Yeah,
you mean the assisted mode?
These kind of go like a potato would, which I kind of like. That's more cinematic.
It's a little slow because I've seen actual homemade FPVs out in the 60-acre park here, where a lot of people fly FPVs, and holy cow, you can't catch cinematic actions. Well, you can, but I mean, for the way they move it, it's like you know how they say a UFO moves like.
Well, did you see the way
it's awesome, but I don't think that's good for movie making.
Don, did you see the way the FPV drone took off though? Was it Dono when he launched it? It was like whoop! It's like goes to a zero like 100 kilometers per hour in like 3 seconds or something. Yeah, it's insane. It's just epic, man.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
You guys should see some other 6S quads that we fly. I mean, they'll go faster than that.
I saw none of the reviewers get those braces. Yeah, I saw those braced arm brackets, but and some people actually confuse those as being. Some people confuse those as spare arms. They thought that, like, oh, DJI's selling spare arms. No, they're braces. I didn't see any of the reviewers use them. Maybe
so.
DJI
Wait a minute. The drone's been out for 2 days. And they've already got braces.
They're $20.
They have arms too.
$20 for 2 braces.
Okay, that was it. That's it.
They knew.
Yeah, I was like, the same day they put them up on the list.
Makes you wonder though, why didn't they give any of the reviewers the braces? From what I've heard, none of them had them. Some of them didn't even know they existed. So.
I thought it was funny too how like almost everybody got 2 of them to review. So
yes, that's right.
This is redundancy.
They knew.
They knew.
And then they're going to come out here in a couple of weeks, and there's going to be a kit that has the braces in them, and it's going to DJI Fly More Than 2 Weeks combo kit.
Well, did you guys see and get the front landing legs? And they have all the connectors and everything. You can replace the front landing legs. I'm really surprised that they feel those are a vulnerable thing that you can just buy as an accessory. But why not the front arms? I guess I'll get a soldering iron and a bunch of front arms instead of DJI.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, like I said, we saw that guy do the tear down.
Now we know what
Lua or something, and he unscrewed the back. He took the top plate off, and those arms are 100% soldered to a 4-in-1 electronic speed control board. So there's no way anyone's going to be able to repair that without soldering. It is disappointing.
I keep waiting on somebody to go, oh!
Good thing I'm sitting down.
But you know what? It's all about how are you going to use this thing, right? If you're not going to go
that's what
crazy
she said.
With it, there you go. Yeah, it's all about how you're going to fly it. If you're not going to go crazy with it, I think that this will work. And I think that there are people out there who will be happy with that experience.
Well, it's kind of like a bridge from like Chuck and I who are Mavic flyers
what it is.
to FPV, it's and more like for cinematic.
It's a hybrid
flying, not really racing.
Everybody here flies Mavic.
So from a cinematic standpoint, I got to ask this because in every video I've seen it, and this kind of shocked me because I thought DJI would have stopped this from happening, and maybe it's a minor issue, but. Props in the view, very, very common across many of the video that I watch. It's going to force you. It's going to force anybody who does anything with it to do cropping. I couldn't believe
crop. It's 4K.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they didn't do something.
What are those going to do, Sean?
But the props aren't always in the
shot. Is this the most weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Since the camera gimbal pivots up and down only, and then
man.
You're going to have the props in the shot.
I saw in a lot of videos the props were in the shot, so I don't know if everybody just didn't change the camera angle. What I figured was, that we actually have frames where it's designed that the props are not in the shot pretty much no matter what angle you have on your FPV drone. We've got a few frames like that. So I was just kind of surprised that DJI didn't do a little more engineering on that front to keep them getting in there. It's a very minor thing, but it kind of surprised me.
Yeah,
I'm just going to crop them out and use DaVinci and crop them out.
You all finished me off when you said that there was actually stabilizing arms on the DJI website already. Yes.
Braces, they're out there.
I was like, man, that's okay. that's a bit.
This is plastic braces on plastic arms. I mean,
I suppose the props.
Wait a minute, what's Gary talking about? Gary, you all have a challenge? Oh, look, Don, it's just over the mountain. It's just over the mountain.
I'm not being defensive.
Just over the mountain. You can fly.
I've been accused of being defensive.
I think when it is in its when it's foot in its thingy attitude mode, looking at how the gimbal goes on the upward position, you won't get props in it at that point. But I presume to be at that kind of angle, I'd have to be in manual mode, wouldn't I?
That's gonna be ludicrous speed, right?
Exactly.
Like that in ludicrous
max
speed. Yeah.
Props
which
out.
is max death to the drone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a minor thing. I just wanted to see how you guys felt seeing that, because a lot of people were pointing that out and like, wow, what the hell's up with the props and the view? Because, you know, like I said, we've got frames that are designed to keep the props from getting in our view.
It is disappointing.
It was a little weird. From DJI, I expected them to prevent the props from giving any camera angle for the most part.
I agree.
Until they bring out a new editing software exclusively for the FPV drone, just $99.99 a minute. And it's yours, and it auto removes the props. Yeah,
nice. Auto crop.
Yeah, we do also now have enough samples to be able to make the John Cuppi rap props in the shot.
Props in the shot.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm not even gonna try.
I don't know, John.
What else can I complain about? The geo zones. We haven't even gotten to that part.
Oh yeah,
I'm used to those. I'm used to those.
There you go. And you gotta
yeah.
Wait, who's the first guy that's gonna admit that they got Lance for their FPV drone?
I know. I couldn't believe that.
That's gonna be a ball buster, man. I'm not even gonna. That's
I'll
part
do
of
it.
why I said
Whatever
no.
it takes to follow the rules, man. I'll do it. I just want to fly.
You know, after they're putting it on this, I can't believe they didn't put it on the Tello.
I'm a Chuck.
What? What? Or Chuck? Something Chuck.
No,
with you.
Hello.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Don. Yeah, I mean, like, just I'll follow the rules. I want to fly. If they do remote ID, I'll tell you where I am. I don't care. I want to fly.
That's another thing that I'm really scared of when this, you know, if we get enough people flying this new FPV that are new to drones, because they see it's fun. What other rules is the AA going to come out with?
You need a spotter, and I don't think, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to buy it, not realizing that when you put goggles on, you technically need a spotter. And
a lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of people straight up just don't do that in FPV. I can tell you, they just straight up don't do it. Not that a flight is necessarily unsafe just because you don't have a spotter automatically. Like that whole thing, that's a whole conversation in and of itself that we could have. But yeah, you're right. A lot of people do not realize that you're supposed to have a spotter.
I think the FDA is going to change that, though.
Yeah, hopefully they do change that.
DJ
bye.
I actually think if they didn't change it, I don't think you'd see this drone come out, honestly.
You'll see the back. Look at the back. Well, Fanboy, acute syndrome to purchase any and all products from a certain manufacturer.
Fanboy.
There's a shirt for you, Bill.
Guilty.
Why do you think I made it, man?
Dude, you have like almost every DJI thing there is except the FPV stuff.
No, there's a lot of stuff I don't. I don't have any of the twos. I don't have any Osmo Pocket.
True. But
I have awesome, man. The Pocket is the best ground footage camera going for like cinematic stuff to pair with your Mavic.
Tell me that's not awesome. Look at that DJ buy.
DJ buy. There you go.
Yeah, well, they got my money every time.
Only $15.99. Support your local drone channel right here. Only $15.99. DJ buy.
Interestingly, Corey Mano just said the DJI drone made it in Transport Canada's approved list. Ooh,
cool,
interesting,
nifty. Cool. So, I think somebody was asking about like durability. I saw it in like a couple of the comments on other videos today, and I just wanted to kind of like tell everybody like the plastic frame that this drone's made of and like what your Mavic is made of is not like one of these.
Right.
You know, and Bill, you want to show? Can you show my screen for a second?
Oh yeah. Hang on, I'm coming. Where is it?
Let me show you.
Oh, okay. Here.
I'm actually surprised it wasn't carbon fiber.
I was looking for it. And I was going, this stuff's better than I thought it was.
Actually, it's going to make me do something here. Can you see it?
Nada.
Don't see it.
Nada.
Somebody asked me about the Moverio glasses.
All right, keep on going. Chrome is like not letting me do something here.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, keep going.
FT3 asked me if we can use the Moverio glasses with this thing, and I'll find out.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, here.
Yeah. I'm gonna find out. Trust me.
What are Moverio glasses?
Oh, come on now. What kind of drone nerd are you?
What the hell? The one that asks questions about shit he doesn't understand.
Really? They're AR glasses from Epson, and
okay. I think
so you can see through the glasses, but they give you a heads up
display
of the screen.
There you go. That'll be
and that gets around the whole spotter thing. So.
That gets around the whole spotter.
Well, because I can see the drone. You can see the drone through the heads-up display. It's just like your car. Your DJI Fly app is in front of your face. It's like a 52-inch screen.
Something tells me if you get a DJI warning on that screen that it says "Land drone now, battery failure imminent," you're not going to be paying attention, man.
All right, so I'm trying not to be a jerk with the DJI FPV drone. So let me ask this: what are you guys most excited to try to shoot with your new DJI drone? Like, do you immediately have some idea? I'm like, oh man, there's a great mountain nearby. I want to go shoot that. Like, tell me what you guys plan to do with this thing once you get a hand.
Not nearby, but I'm supposed to go on a vacation that was supposed to happen in September, 2 weeks in Scotland and the Highlands and everything. And I'm going to fly castles and mountains, and that's this thing. I'm so glad the trip was delayed now because this thing's going with me along with the Mavic 2 Pro, and I'm going to get some amazing stuff. Should I be able to without the? We'll see.
Don, what about you?
For me, sorry, Don.
Oh, that's okay.
He totally agrees.
I was going in order of the boxes.
I'm, just like Chuck, going out here in our back door in the mountains and stuff, just flying it FPV, just to have that feel of flying.
Yes.
Instead of just a steady camera.
Which is nice. The steady camera is really awesome. I mean, I've got some really good stuff, but the swoopiness will be a nice mix. I'd like to use both drones for different shots, and
exactly.
I'll go up to the Adirondack Mountains in New York State, and I'll get some stuff. And
I feel like you won't need to go full acro to get a lot of those.
Oh
shots.
No!
You can go into that stabilized mode that they've got it on.
Yeah,
you're going to get that roller coaster look.
Because to make it look like full acro anyways,
fluid.
You can do that
just
post.
Fluid, not crazy stuff, just smooth and fluid, which is like if you watch
that thing, man, it's gonna be like trying to turn a semi. If you don't turn a corner right, you're gonna hit something, man. It's gonna go wide. I'm telling you.
I plan to do a lot of practice before
it's heavy. There's a lot of it's gonna it's not gonna be nimble. It's like a Corvette kind of when it comes to sports cars. Corvettes are big and heavy, and that's actually my favorite sports car.
I want to hear what Sean wants to shoot now. What is he eager to shoot with his FPV drone?
Well, you got to share ready, Ethan?
For me, it's my neighbor's wife. She goes out jogging every day, and she's a little bit fast for me to keep up with. So I think this will help me catch her. This will help me catch up and get those shots that I've been wanting to get, basically.
And she could be your visual observer.
Maybe like this, flying like this.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
nice.
I probably won't go into manual mode. She's fast, but she's not that fast.
Searching for UK.
Perhaps I could clip her and slow it down a little bit.
Authorities.
Nasty man, you. I have no idea.
I gotta have their number so I can call you in.
I love Geek Svana now, man. We gotta talk on the side. He's my kind of dude.
But no,
Ron, what are you going to be shooting with your DJI FPV drone? When
he moves on so fast, doesn't he?
What are you looking forward to shooting? I know Ron's not getting it.
John. That's a good question. Nothing.
No, Ron.
Oh Lord.
He's just gonna put it on his table and drool on it.
Oh wait, Bill's gone. Bill, I was gonna hide from Bill, but he's back.
No, Ron is feeling a little bit fatigued, Bill.
It's gonna like this. I'm gonna hide from Bill. I'm gone.
Ron, it's perfectly. If you're really tired, we totally understand. If you need to bail, I think we were just because you were just like, okay, I'm really good.
No, I wasn't sure whether John said Don or Ron, so I was like waiting to see if Don replied.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions for? And I got to send somebody a link. It's afterwards. I told him I was going to send him the link. He may already be gone. We'll see.
Send the link.
All right. So just FPV in general.
I haven't ordered the FPV drone. I don't have any plans to order it right now, so that's why I don't have any filming plans.
Well, why not? What's the holdup, Ron?
Just you know, well, I'll go right to the meat here. You know, I'm a Part 107 pilot now, and I don't feel like losing that Part 107 license by flying an FPV drone without a visual observer, and I fly by myself 99.9% of the time.
Okay. I gotcha.
Okay. Well, we'll see if my glasses work with it. Maybe
correct answer.
There you go.
Good answers.
I'm gonna borrow that, Ron.
I'm 107. But I'm gonna fly the hell out of this thing, but I'll always have my wife be my spotter.
Oh, it was a great.
Or maybe she'll fly it for me.
This was a great lead-in.
Connection.
I always have a spotter. I make sure to keep off camera whenever.
Okay. Ethan has a share for us. Let me get this up here. What are you going to tell us about this shot here, Ethan?
Oh boy.
Okay, so this is I just flew this today. Actually, this is the new little 5-inch 4S build that John, Gary, and I are doing, and so I just flew it today. And this just is a testament of the durability of this frame. I was really surprised. And this is just the Source One frame. It's like one of the cheapest frames out there. And this is the GoPro footage. There's no image stabilization. This is straight from the drone. I just put like a little quick tune on it. Nothing fancy. You can see I hit that, and then bam.
Nice.
Oh, right to the asphalt, right?
Just bounce.
Yeah.
Like bumbles bounce.
And look at the. You want to see the damage?
Let's see the
Go
damage.
back to the full screen.
All right. Here we go.
I think you're gonna have to send that back to DJI Care.
Yeah, I need to. Where am I going? I'm going to go. Yeah. Exit. Come on, get out of here.
You can't get it out of there.
Oh, wait a minute.
There we go.
And back to
Oh, that's not bad.
And
You came back from DJI Care then.
Not as all the thing got damaged was the
prop.
two props.
That's some fast service.
But there's not a scratch on it.
Yep.
So,
man, and that you know that DJI.
Could you guys
Go
put an
ahead.
Osmo action in there with Rocksteady? I mean, I'm sure somebody's done it.
He
That
has.
would,
Ethan has. Ethan has.
that would smooth it right out, wouldn't it? Like something like
Look at
Rocksteady.
this.
Well,
Ethan actually made this for me, this little Osmo Action mount, and I have one of these for this as well. But I actually don't like the Osmo Action for FPV video, nice HD video compared to the GoPro. I think the GoPro's what do they call it? Hyper Smooth does a much better job. And then the purists go with Real Steady. The purists will literally shoot it and go with Real Steady.
Yeah.
Ethan can kind of explain that if you guys want to hear that.
Yeah. Now that footage that you saw was no stabilization. I had Hyper Smooth turned off for that. And I do that to tune them just so I can like review the footage and see any kind of like little stuff going on. And then if it's like rock smooth, even with Hyper Smooth off, I know it's flying good. But I also have Real Steady Go, so I can run the footage through that, and it like really smooths everything out really well. But
that's where you get that really butter smooth stuff.
Yeah, but that's that. I just wanted to show that video. That's a testament. This thing was probably going 25 miles an hour, fell straight down to asphalt from about 30 feet, and props only. I mean, all the electronics are fine. All the GoPro was fine. The main camera was fine. Not a scratch on the motors. The frame's fine. I mean, you can't argue with the durability of these things.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, everybody, actually. Do you think there'll be filters available for the FPV drone?
ND filters?
Yeah. I don't see if there's any way to mount them on the front of the thing. I haven't looked at it up close yet. Mine shows up tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't see a way.
I don't see a way.
Sean, there's no way?
I don't see any way that you would put. There's certainly nothing. There's nothing to take off to put them on. There's no kind of thread or anything. It's an uneven surface to get the field of view, I suppose.
There's like a hood, right? There's like a little hood around it. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I suppose it depends if the inner part of there is metal or not. I suppose you could drop a metallic one in there.
I'm wondering if like the likes of Freewell have come up with a way to do it.
Somebody will make something, trust me.
Exactly.
Honestly, as somebody who uses a Mavic day in and day out, I was kind of hoping I could put ND filters on it. Does that sound crazy? Because I mean,
Chuck, I have a little something for you. As a GoPro user that uses, what did we just say GoPro's image stabilization is?
Hyper Smooth 2.0.
When you mix Hyper Smooth stabilization with ND filters, it usually doesn't make for a good result. Something looks odd about the video because image stabilization is trying to do something with the shutter, and then the I can't explain the technology behind it, but using electronic image stabilization and ND filters are not a good match on GoPros, walking around like this.
Well, I totally get what y'all are saying, but didn't they make filters for like the Mavic?
So pleasurable to hear that.
Clamp them on the grill plates just to get them to hang on.
The Spark. The Spark had them like that.
Yeah, they'll figure out some way to get ND filters on there.
Yeah, they will.
Somebody wants to buy them.
They'll figure out something.
If you drop it straight in, there is a very flat, round surface, literally round it. So
they'll figure it out.
There's a chance, but it's I'm not sure.
But one thing to keep in mind with the electronic stabilization GoPro, this Rocksteady stuff, you want to keep a very high shutter speed, or else it doesn't work very well.
Yep, and that's where the ND filters can kind of
make it look worse, and sometimes
make it look worse, right?
Well, I'm going to try it with because I've used an Osmo Action a lot, and I have Freewell variable ND filters for that, and I've found it's pretty effective, even 4K.
On an FPV drone? Have you flown it on an FPV drone?
No. And that's a very good point, Ethan. No, I haven't.
Yeah, and there's a reason why the Osmo Action didn't catch on for FPV drones in general. It's just because Rocksteady itself is just not that great. It's just not. Whatever GoPro has done, Hyper Smooth alone is amazing. And then again, we have Real Steady software like that. It's just built around GoPro's metadata to smooth out that video. So that's why the Osmo never really caught on in that category.
Yeah, there's two other cameras that do this really well: the GoPro and the Insta360, because they, if you're using the GoPro with Real Steady, the stabilization is done post, so you can lock your shutter speed in with no stabilization, and it gets the correct motion blur, and then you stabilize it in post with Rocksteady, so it looks smooth and has a proper motion blur. The Insta360 does the kind of the same thing, all in its little app, so you can lock the shutter speed, get the correct, or actually let the shutter do whatever it wants, so it can stabilize it well, and then it adds motion blur back into it.
Okay.
Did you have a question, Ron?
Ron Brown?
Yeah, Ron Brown. Did you have a question?
I don't believe so. I want just maybe a question, a comment to John or Ethan. Are ND filters a thing at all in the FPV community? Do you guys use them with your handheld? Okay, on your GoPros. Okay.
Yep. And this is a polarized one.
Right. I can see the polarizer being just as important or more important than the ND part of it. Again, if you're using the image stabilization of the GoPro, which apparently you are.
Yeah, I've been using Real Steady more just because getting the correct motion blur in camera and then stabilizing afterward, I think it looks much better.
Apparently they already exist.
Oh.
All right. See, I'm in. That's what I
see. How fast, man. See how fast technology.
Yes. Well, I know they've had
it's unreal. Do we want FPV? We want filters? Yeah. Freewell's got some right now. Okay, cool.
I'll be ordering them up because for me as a Mavic pilot going.
Wait a minute. What are we're gonna have Freewell arm supports before too long.
So it sits over the top by the looks of it.
Oh, I see.
Somebody gonna pull them up.
Very interesting.
Bill, you gonna pull them up?
Oh, okay. I guess I could.
Okay.
I tell you what,
I'm trying to produce
give me some free stuff, man. I push their stuff all the time. That's all I use is their filters.
Okay.
Wait a
minute. I need to get the actual filters. Do they have a link to the filters?
They need like 1 billion subscribers.
There they are.
From them.
Amazon. All righty. Okay. I got a share coming up.
Freewell, that's true. Freewell never misses an opportunity for some money. Absolutely.
So it kind of clips over.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Look at that. There we go.
They've already got.
Okay, Sean, go ahead and fire it up again there, buddy.
Oh, I gotta go over to Amazon now. I gotta get myself some filters. Did they have variable NDs? Doesn't look like it.
It's like, okay, everybody that's got Prime, get it by Friday, March 5th.
There we go. That's perfect. Sign me up. Oh, Sean, you're killing me. You're killing me, man.
So, Sean, do you fly FPV at all?
Zero.
Zero.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I got this is that I have been I'm one of the camera guys that's tempted by cine whoop type, cinematic FPV shots. I love some of the skilled flyers out there, but I've always been sensible enough to know that I would have to go whole hog if I ever went into it to really, understand it, etc. So for me, with this drone, this is going to be can a camera guy get reasonable shots in the sport mode? And it probably, if it ever goes into manual, I'd be surprised. But if it did, it would be at my flying club field and 100 feet in the air for about 3 seconds and then back into sport.
Sure.
So yeah, it's that. I don't see. I make a lot of jokes about, hey, I'm FPV now, but I don't see this. I don't really. If this was actually called the FPV, the DJI Flash, I'd be just as happy, because to me, it's not. I haven't bought an FPV drone, if that makes sense. So
right. What I was really hoping they would do is, because I think John will agree with me. If anybody that hasn't experienced FPV at all, like, wants to even try this thing, just to flip it into manual, just to try it, I think you're going to get in trouble real fast. Because like flying acro is like completely different than anything else.
Exactly.
But and I was hoping that they because I know they got a simulator, but a couple of the guys I've been talking to say it's terrible. It's nothing even.
I've heard
supposedly it's terrible, Ethan, and it's not required. It just warns you that they want you to do it, but it's not actually required to enable. I guess they throw up. It's a 2-stage process to get to the full acro mode, and I guess there's warnings about it and all that, but you can just go nope and get right to it.
Well, hopefully the remote will connect to a computer like any other remote, and like I highly recommend like Velocidrone or what's the other one? There's another one out there. They're like these flight FPV simulators, and Velocidrone even has like a course that like teaches you step by step. Okay, so you will basically learn the maneuvers, like almost like a FPV for dummies kind of thing. Like it's got these classes that walks you through it. Like, okay, this is your throttle. You push forward and then stop pushing forward, and then this is how you turn. This is how you flip. And it walks you through. And like, even though the physics aren't exactly the same, just getting the muscle memory down with your hands makes a huge difference, because that part's exactly the same. And if you can get the rate, because you can dial in the rates also in Velocidrone or the other simulator, and if the rates are almost identical to what we plug in our FPV drone, so that part like feels exactly the same. Awesome. So they're definitely a big help.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd recommend anybody to spend time on a sim before flying FPV.
I think DJI would even be wise to have all this set up, connect to their, like the remote, even connect to the old air units in Vista, or maybe make some new ones, so that somebody could like build a little like 3-inch or 4-inch beater and still use all the same gear. And then once they get comfortable with it, then they can flip this thing into full acro,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, I think that this simulator thing should sort of be like how if you play a video game for the first time and it's complicated, the developers will set up like, the kind of like the intro level, and you have to pass all that to be able to, play the real game, where they kind of teach you the game.
I gotta go like through levels before I can fly.
Yeah. That's what I would like to see them do. Keep people from getting into that manual mode without
it's gonna take a while before people can fly.
Yeah,
I tell you what, it's a good thing. At least if they can pass the simulator check, then I will say, all right.
Get credit on my credit card and let me fly. If I got enough money to buy new cards, let me fly.
Wasn't Billy's video saying that you can go from DJI Pilot to full acro in a matter of hours? Because Billy never flew. Billy never flew FPV before this drone. That's the honest to God truth.
I think it's also depending on the person too, because some people, have that aptitude to actually learn how to do these maneuvers really easy. Well, I would say a lot of gamers should have the aptitude to do that, but for just Joe Schmo who's never done this and comes
I mean, I'm not saying that the simulator check should be ridiculously long or anything.
Right.
That way, you guys did buy it. It is yours. You should be able to do what you want with it. But I think it would be interesting if they at least
suggest
try to do something to prevent people from going full manual before they're ready for it.
I agree.
I do see people who are going to do it and they're going to cry over it.
Yeah,
I just
kind
know
of
me personally, because I've only been flying FPV for about a year and a half, 2 years now. I can remember vividly that it took me a full 2 months.
What did I do? What the hell did I do? What the hell did I do?
Don,
I'm trying to be nice, okay? I'm trying to be nice about the FPV drone, okay? I'm trying to be nice.
Well, Keith at the
you're just sitting there telling us how to fly our drone, and you know, you need to do this. You need to. Yeah, maybe we should have like a test
like
before you can fly.
Drone police.
You know, maybe yeah.
There you go.
So
he doesn't want the FAA to come down to the FPV.
Do not worry. If I stick that thing in manual,
that's going to be the new one. They're always bitching about drone police. Now the FPV pilots are going to tell all it's going to be the FPV police.
And John is the chief of police.
I don't trust you, camera people. You guys are scary.
Look at this shit down here. Look at this. You know where the link is. Bring it.
By the way, I ordered my filters for the FPV already from Free.
There you go. There you go. Get to your vacation, man.
That's right, man. It's got cinematic FPV. That's what this is all about. That's what it's all about.
DJI fans, they line up, and the credit cards come out.
Well, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna be cinematic, man. We're filmmakers. That's what we're all about. That's what I'm all about.
FPV guys are filmmakers too. The Johnny FPV didn't film that on a DJI.
I want to show you guys a picture of what just happened before I came on.
Oh, John, you're all good, man.
So I had to go drone fishing.
Oh my God!
No.
What?
Drone fishing. Fishing.
That's sweet though.
And so this is the video of what happened.
You have to send the potato in for the rescue.
So the Mavic 2 Pro came in clutch.
The potato in for the rescue.
The potato comes in. The rescue drone's a potato.
Yeah, I thought I would try something, and it didn't work out too well.
Oh, you ended up on the roof.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That sounds like the title.
I tried to thread the needle and didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
Close.
Whoa, and it ended up on the roof.
You know, it's kind of like close.
And turtle mug wouldn't work.
Well, because it broke the props. So
okay.
Horseshoes and hand grenades, man. Close doesn't always work.
But the Mavic 2 Pro is strong as crap.
Yeah.
And that's it. That prop was completely gone.
So can a Mavic 2 Pro pick up a small child? Isn't that like the Ken Heron test?
Yeah, right. I know. So this quad with the GoPro and the battery weighs about 850 grams. Mavic 2 Pro scooped it up like it was nothing. So
wow. Nice.
I will know to take the Mavic 2 Pro with me wherever I go now. So
I love my Mavic 2 Pros.
Man. It's a good reminder for me to do the same.
So I would figure because it's using the Fly app, right?
No, the Pro Go uses the Go app.
Pro uses Go 4. Air 2 uses Fly.
The FPV drone uses the Fly app.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. And see, Corey's asking how many people that have the FPV drone have Apple devices, and I'm like, I think they put on an update for the Fly app today Android. On both sides, didn't they? On Android also.
Android. That's what I was asking earlier. I haven't found the flight simulator for Android yet. I was looking on the DJI site and also on the Play Store, and I haven't found it yet. But I haven't looked very hard either.
It's like I said, I'm going to hold off, and I'll be honest with you. Here's my theory, and I've already talked to John about this. I think that as we start getting Mavic 3 leaks, you're going to see an assload of DJI FPV drones on Facebook Marketplace.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. If you have some dizzy pilots, you're gonna see a glut of dizzy pilots who don't like the goggles. But no, not for. You're gonna keep the FPV drone for the cinematic stuff.
I would agree.
I mean the cinematic FPV stuff, and you're gonna get rid of your Mavic 2.
I don't care what you say.
Mavic 2 is gonna go bye.
Money husband's going, baby. I just spent $1,600 oh, and I'm going to spend another 25 now. And she's like, my ass, you are.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're going to unload your old Mavic 2s and stuff and sacrifice them instead of
I didn't bring this point up, but I don't think that you're going to want to sell your Mavic 2 because it's going to be a collector's item because I don't think you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see a Hasselblad in the air ever again.
It'll be fine.
I'm telling you, I don't think you're ever going to see a Hasselblad in the air ever again.
You watch. The Mavic 3 is going to have interchangeable cameras. They're going to be like, take my money, DJI. Take
with
my
the
money.
Sony sensors, maybe, but I don't think Hasselblad.
Honestly,
the way Hasselblad is done.
The name.
Yeah,
Hasselblad's just a name. A 1-inch sensor that's done well with faster hardware is going to blow away what the Mavic 2 is right now. And that's how DJI is going to take our money next time.
Yeah, I mean, they could actually just make just a very small incremental increase with the all the new remote ID stuff, and that they literally could make a fourth one with a better camera, and it'd still sell like hotcakes.
I don't know if they're going to get our money that easily this time. A lot of guys like me have flown the Mavic 2 since it came out in August of 2018, and we're pretty comfortable with it, and we like what it does, and we haven't gotten so good that we've outgrown it. So a lot of people like me, I'm thinking of skipping a generation, like wait for the Mavic 4.
Yeah,
I will agree that Mavic 2 is still a stout,
very formidable. It does a great job, and being comfortable with it as a pilot is really important because you go out to get the stuff, you get your shots, and if you know how to fly it and you know what it's going to do, and it's like you get the predict stuff, and
I love the colors.
Sean shaking his head no.
Sean's one no.
Yeah. You've all got it wrong. You have all got it wrong.
We've all got it wrong.
Educate me, Sean.
I have just purchased the king of drones, the Inspire one. Seriously,
Nice.
I have. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, what are you going to do with it?
Look at it.
I know a guy who was Inspired too, and he hated the Cell, but he said compared to the flying the Mavic 2, he said it was just so different and so much better.
It is awesome. I've only flown it once. I've only had it about 2 weeks, and I took off at my local park, and everybody just what the?
Well, it blows you away. Aren't the props everything?
You see what Mike's saying? Mike's saying the Mavic 3 he doesn't think will be released until 2022. I'm going to tell you right now, Mike. I think within the next 3 to 4 months.
Yes.
Boom. I don't know.
Yes. Next week. Week after the leaks will start.
Yeah. Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, I'm thinking spring. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
coming, and it's coming soon.
I'm figuring. I'm going to go out. I'm going to say between April and May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think so.
I've been really surprised. From the people that. Yeah, the people that I normally get my information from, I've been so shocked that literally just before this came out, they started talking to me about the next drone, whatever the Mavic 3 will be called. Yeah. They started talking to me about that drone, and I was really surprised because they're serious people that give me good information. And I sort of like the first guy actually started laughing. Oh yeah, of course. And he was like, "No, I'm serious." Oh, okay. It is ready. It's coming.
Yep. See, that really surprises me, Sean, because I've been thinking with this whole entity list situation, how is that going to possibly affect the Mavic 3? Because a lot of people were just assuming, oh, we're going to get a Mavic 3, but we didn't really know. We still don't really know to what extent does that affect DJI's product development going forward.
Yeah, I think we're going to have another Huawei situation where Huawei saw it coming and brought up a lot of the chips. And a lot of their components, and in fact, even though they've been on the even harsher level of the entity list for quite a while now, it's only the end of this year that they're going to run out of the US chips that they can no longer purchase. So they've had like 2 years to develop other options. And I think that's what we're probably going to see with them. And I also think that's why these drones, the Mavic 3, the Inspire 3, have all been developed already, because they saw this coming. So they've kind of got the development done. They've kind of got these things ready to rock and roll, and in production, frankly.
What are they going to do to outdo the Mavic 2? Like Keith at the K-Spot's asking, and I'm thinking the same thing. What are they possibly going to do with the Mavic 3?
I honestly think
All right,
the M3 will blow it away.
Devil.
Watch out. We got a badass over here. Watch out.
Wait, what? What?
I have turned loose the Tasmanian devil.
This man won't fly HD. He's an analog man. He's against DJI entirely, including the goggles.
Right.
So here's I think the Mavic 3 will have a 6K camera, 12-bit color.
But then you're gonna need like
this will win him over.
Oh my god!
He will now be.
I'll shut up now.
I love there you go. There you go, Nemo. You're now gonna only fly DJI, aren't you?
Now, Sean, you have to get the light blue.
I'm melting. I'm melting.
Got to be blue LEDs, brother. Then it'll be cool.
Now here's the FPV police already. It's got to be blue LEDs. It's got to be green LEDs.
Blue
LEDs.
My whole computer's blue. By the way, I was going to say about the 8K stuff. Who the hell needs 8K? I mean, I built a computer a couple of years ago because my Mavic 2 killed my existing computer. So I got an i9 7940X, and now I have a 3080 graphics card and everything. What am I going to have to do computer-wise when I spend $3,000 on the Mavic 3? Then I need to spend another $3 or $4,000 on a PC upgrade to handle the editing?
That's all I got.
Come on.
Still cool.
How many pixels do I need?
More.
Asking
what more pixels? Yeah.
More. Well, it's not the pixels; it's the compression. Are you using the?
I know. I was going to say something kind of. I can't say it on here because
I know me personally. Me personally, I could care less about 6 or 8K. I think 4K is plenty, but I would love to get more bit depth. Like if they could give me 12-bit color, I'd be tickled to death.
Yeah. I know billion colors isn't enough, huh? Even
dude, man, you can tell a huge difference between 8-bit and 10-bit. I mean, there's a huge difference.
I agree with that statement. I do.
Yeah, I would even. I think 1080p 10-bit looks way better than 4K 8-bit. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never had any problems with 1080p either. When you have really super high bit rate stuff, it can be better in 1080p as long as you don't have to crop it or anything. When you have to crop it, 4K is nice.
Hey, folks, everyone, I'm going to say my good nights. I'm going to get going. So it was a great panel, great discussion tonight, and thanks for our guests, Sean, Don, and Chuck joining us tonight, and Nemo. I'm not leaving because of you. I love you, buddy. You're going to fill my shoes here, and I'm going to say my good nights. Thanks again, Bill, for another great show, and I will see everybody next week for the Part 107 show.
You take care, Ron. Get some rest.
Just before you take off, I wanted to see if you would be interested in maybe having Chuck and Don come back next week to help you out with the 107, since me and John are kind of lacking in our studies, kind of like the FPV boot camp thing.
That would be great. Into it now, yeah.
That would be cool if you.
I just took the renewal.
Or Don, are you busy next?
I'm busy next week. Unfortunately, as I told you, every other week I have a conference call with Sydney.
So we'll try. We'll have Chuck on with you next week to help out, and then we'll work Don. Maybe try to get Don back on with us there in the next week or two after that. All right, how about that? All right, Ron, you get some rest, buddy.
Good night, everyone. Have a great show.
Meet you, Ron.
You have a good night.
Bill, you can have me pretty much any old time. I can.
Well,
I'll find a
way. Now the thing about it is we got to keep it going, because I got somebody that just said, I just got home. I'm going to jump in the shower real quick, and then I'm going to come on. So he's actually had this drone for a few months. So this particular gentleman will be on.
Can I control his drone?
And, well, you can try, because you're a hell of a lot closer. You're a lot closer to him than I am.
I'm going to link.
He's in Philadelphia.
So I can link. I link.
He's in Philly. So Billy,
little too far.
Billy from Philly should be here in about 30, hopefully.
Ah, nice.
I can't link.
30 minutes. We gotta fill the show with 30 minutes of something.
I brought the Tasmanian devil in. I thought for sure he was.
I got the Tasmanian devil. I got something
right here.
You guys want to hear? You guys want to hear the best FPV startup tone? Listen to this.
Oh, here we go.
Listen.
I smell copyright infringement right there.
I was flexing my startup tone too, Nemo, earlier in the show.
Boy. John's is the final countdown, in case anybody didn't notice. So, I mean, anybody, you can put whatever you want to on there to chime it.
You can put Super Mario on it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the frickin', it doesn't have the little bit of
Here we go.
Alien, man.
I'm sure I could emulate that. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I never get tired of that. I'm so glad.
It's the vibration as well.
Yeah,
it's the vibration. I mean, to be fair, it's
You know
actually
why?
the full effect is on a
Here,
table or something. Here, look. Let me redo this. I'm probably going to get an email soon from DJI saying, "Could you please stop turning your drone off?"
Right, because you know they're watching.
Here we go.
Oh yeah.
The vibration adds a little something to it.
You know why it vibrates, right? You know why it vibrates.
Your wife's gonna like it then too. That's good.
It's like I don't have my support arms on. I'm afraid to take off.
Yeah.
So Nemo, what do you think about this whole DJI FPV drone situation?
Well, John, I'll tell you what I think. What I think is that it's bad because it's going to get a bunch of people that don't know a lot about FPV to buy it, and they're going to crash because if you fly FPV, you're going to crash regardless of how good you are, how long you've been flying. You're going to crash. And from what I've seen, the first day I've seen so far, and I don't even follow it, 3 people that have crashed and broke the hell out of these things.
You know how much money DJI is going to make in the first few weeks?
That's what I'm saying.
Don't I look like an FPV flyer now?
Nemo, I disagree a
There
little
you
bit.
go.
Here we go. The first live indoor flight of the DJI FPV.
You need these.
By Sean Hickey.
Yeah, right.
First and last. Actually, no.
You need these. This is
Quad Standard Labs flew theirs.
I kind of disagree with Nemo a little bit. I mean, I know where he's coming from, but the responsible pilots, like I feel like I am. I know I am, but you aren't. But anyway, I'm just thinking that I'm not going to fly the hell out of the thing. I'm pretty scared. I spent $1,300 on this thing, plus $300 for more batteries, plus $300 for this silly thing, and like, so there's a lot of money tied up on this thing. I'm going to fly it like a baby.
You know, to that point, Nemo, I agree. I actually kind of agree with Chuck to an extent.
I can hear my wife. Oh, you want to spend $1,600 on the FPV drone, and then you want to spend another $2,600 on the new Mavic whatever drone, and you say you're a responsible pilot.
I didn't say I was responsible with my wallet. I said I was responsible.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, you're the exact type of person that DJI loves.
I know the crosshairs are right here, man. The crosshairs are. They had them on me the whole time.
I used to be that bad.
No, but I mean, like, I actually kind of agree. Like I said with Chuck, I don't think that everybody who gets it is going to go out and crash the crap out of this thing. Too much money. The cost alone is going to cause some people to be more reserved, and that care refresh cost is really high. In fact, it's the most expensive care refresh replacement cost, I think, for ratio of what the drone costs to because I guess what does the drone actually cost? We estimated something like $300-400, something like that.
Johnny says I'm still gonna crash.
No, I thought was like 600.
Even in that really assisted mode. Well, then again, you know what? Yeah, people
I don't know.
It
depends
on where they fly it. If you're like, I'll use Sean Oz as an example. I hope you don't crash, Sean Oz. Don't crash. You know, if he's out in a mountain, right? If he's just flying out in a mountain away from objects and stuff, I don't see how the hell he's going to crash. But then again, he did sink Arco's drone, so I don't know what to say.
Well, let's put it this way. You know, you have people that buy the Mavic 2, Mavic Air 2, and they still crash.
They still crash it, I know. Yeah.
I admit it. I raised my hand. I crashed my Mavic 2. Well, one of my Mavic 2 Pros. I have a couple for redundancy, but I crashed one into a tree because I had the sensors off, and I saw me heading. I was doing a dolly shot this way, and I saw the tree out on the side. I'm like, oh, it'll stop if it's just like there's room. Yeah, no, I freaking trimmed the tree, and down came the drone in the mulch, but it lived. But
is anybody worried about like crashing this drone, especially with it being so close to release and then literally maybe going weeks without a replacement? Do you guys think DJI is ready to replace?
No, I've heard there are no parts.
I'll just fly one of my other Mavics.
I still think that we're going to see the new Mavic so fast because DJI has done this to us so many times. So many times. They're going to come out with one new thing and we're like, oh, yeah. And then you go and buy it, and then the next thing you know, they come out with something brand new, even better, and you're like, man, I wish I hadn't bought it. And then 6 months later, you end up going in debt and buying that one.
Of course.
You know? So I'm just like, nope. They've bit me too hard too many times before. And plus, if I lived in an area that was more accessible to an FPV drone, especially this FPV drone, because right now I've got my backyard to fly.
So, Bill, you gonna fly Rainier? You can fly Rainier with the FPV drone, man.
No.
Oh no, you can't.
You can't. It's a no-fly zone.
Oh, you can't. But here in New York, I can get permission to fly at a state park if I
well, we can do that. We can fly. We can
stuff.
fly in state parks here as long as we carry the Ranger in tow.
Right.
You know, we could do that. You can get the permits. Like I think what $25 for standard is like $35 for a 107. I think, but it's not that big a deal. You just have to tow the Ranger along with you.
Right. I think Sean is communicating with the DJI gods or something. He looks like he's hypnotized.
The mothership is called.
Did you see that they were all having orgasms every time he started up?
Beam me up, Sean. Beam me up.
Just like beam me up. It's like I told everybody to begin with. When every time he started, everybody would leave for 5 minutes to go smoke a cigarette.
It is
just like that thing.
The only reason, the real reason I actually bought this drone is so that when I'm at a bar and I'm talking to a young lady, I'm like, yeah, I fly drones, FPV drones.
And then you
That's the only reason. Technically, I'm not lying.
Yeah, baby, I fly FPV.
And I really want to get with the women, the kind of women that are impressed by the fact that I fly FPV drones.
Right. No, you have to say.
Yeah, but what happens when you're
FPV?
Okay, but you wake up the next day and you really like the girl. You've been with her for a while, and she comes home after you've been with her for 6 months, and you realize someone else has been adjusting her gimbals.
Oh no!
And
now you're just making me sad.
Yeah, you just Sean had me going there. Now I'm all sad.
I'll still have my drone.
Yeah,
that's
Sean.
true.
How do you like the fit of the FPV goggles to your face? With the glasses.
Do you know
on.
what? I feel. I feel kind of guilty that I have V2 goggles and things, and I'm never going to fully appreciate the wonders that they could probably do.
Wait, John.
But it feels good. They feel good on.
It feels good. Yeah, I mean,
snug
that was the one big thing with the fat. What was the one big thing with the fat sharks? Having to take my glasses off and put them on.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome to just put them on and look, Ethan's got the.
I have two questions. I have two questions about the new
Fat
goggles.
Shark phone, mine.
Yeah, I have two questions about the new goggles. One is the first complaint on the V1s was the foam, and I guess they haven't changed the foam. They sell it as an accessory.
Yeah, the foam is crap.
I heard the foam is crap, and K-Spot told me that. Then the other thing is, as I hate to admit, I'm an older guy. I need some kind of vision correction for the goggles, don't I? Is that stuff must be available?
So with the original foam, even though it's not very form-fitting, you can still wear your glasses on the inside of them.
But can you get cheaters that fit in there, like the magnifiers and stuff? For
you could just wear your regular glasses with the goggles on.
So they actually do have, even though you can wear your regular glasses, they do sell diopter inserts too. They sell -2, -4, -8. So if you fit any of those categories, you can snap them on to the lenses and put them in if you want to.
Yeah. They've been hard to find though.
They have been
sold out for a long
time. I don't know if the same ones will fit. Remember the original DJI goggles look like a cereal box on your face?
Yeah, they don't.
I had these things.
They're different lenses.
I had two pair. I had these and the other ones. Well, I cut them. I cut the little centerpiece off and then just Velcroed them in on the other goggles. So I kind of. So I guess I could be an FPV guy because I like to modify stuff and just make stuff work. So
it's interesting that you bring that up because
you would get addicted bad, Chuck. Bad.
Probably, but I just rather be flying now than building. Is that weird?
You can just wear glasses with these.
I think
you don't have to worry
Chuck's
about
going to get into full blown FPV now. Now that he just admitted, somebody send him a solder iron. That's all.
I've already got a soldering iron. I have a gun and an iron. Yeah.
Look at this.
And my grandfather left me like 9 miles of lead solder, which is much easier to work with too. The good stuff.
Oh God, no! I guarantee that's not what you use for electronics. Whatever he has.
Hey, is that a DJI soldering iron? I mean,
That's true.
It's actually my dad's Weller from like 1960.
No, don't use a Weller. Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah, don't.
No,
use
it'll burn everything up. The thing's like, it's like this controller is like half the size of the Weller.
The Weller's a good way to have a bad experience. And so
no, I have a pencil. I have a pencil iron too that I bought recently that for little stuff. But no, I don't think I'm going to get into it, Bill. I don't. I said I wouldn't buy this. I said I wouldn't buy this thing either. I wouldn't buy the drone. And Keith is laughing at me because Keith at the Case Spot and I, we talk all the time. And he's like, you said you weren't going to buy one the morning before it was released. And here you are. You bought one the second they unlocked them.
So Ethan, John, or Nemo, do you guys
Dan doesn't like it. Dan obviously does not.
We cut our own frames. No.
Oh, you don't cut your own frames?
Actually, I've printed my own frames with a carbon fiber PLA.
Oh, sweet.
It works okay. I mean, it's not as rigid as carbon fiber, but it works okay.
He's gonna be the first 3D printer guy to make parts for these things.
I've already talked to Ken Dono about it. I was like, I should start designing like carbon fiber parts for this thing.
Yeah, get on it because that's huge market. Somebody's gonna do it because
I mean, I don't worry about it too much. Although it would be nice. But like for example, this frame. This frame by Armatan, it's warranted for life. I think I paid $75 for the frame. Oh, wow. And if I break it, all you have to do is send them an email with it. It's got a serial on it. I think they want you to physically like smash the frame up with a hammer or whatever, just to prove that it's gone and done 100%. Yeah. And then they send you a new one.
Nice. Well, if you have like warranty for life, you can't beat that. Because back in the day, like I was saying when I was about flying helicopters, I actually buy plates of carbon fiber and cut the frames myself.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very cool.
That's very
cool. Now I don't have time for that now that I have family.
See, that's why DJI is targeting us, Don. You know that we have better things to do with our time than build.
Exactly.
We just want to fly.
You know what I did notice though is that we put props out. The props spin out instead of in, like this. Inward props is what kind of like the standard is for most drones, FPV drones. But I fly props out just so when you go through trees and it'll kick the twigs and branches out of the way. Yeah. And this one's got props out. I was surprised to see that.
I was surprised to see that too.
Yeah, I did notice that.
I still would like to see the flight controller, see what it is.
Dude, even if you saw it, it wouldn't be recognizable, dude.
I mean, but I could look at it. You could tell F4, F7. You could see like.
I'm willing to bet it's got to be something really fast to do all that stuff, all that processing that it's doing at the same time.
Yeah, it's got to be at least. It could be dual F7. Who the hell knows?
It's a F3 omnibus.
Right. Goggles. There's a dumb question. I have a dumb question, but I'm full of
dumb questions here.
Nope.
Just no stupid questions. Just stupid people like Mr. Garrison said on
this. This is drone therapy.
Do you think?
Realize?
Do you think that you could fly the FPV drone with just like a phone or plug in like glasses into?
Oh my God! What a dumb question.
See, I told you I had a good dumb question.
You talking about those VR things you put your phone in?
Yeah. Yeah, do you really need the goggles, or can you fly it more like on your own? Just because, again, maybe I'm talking sacrilege to FPV guys because I get it. They have the goggles and everything, and you dudes, I respect you, I do. But for a cinematic, just to get because I'm more about who's watching my stuff and getting the cinematic.
Yeah, you can do video out from the goggles to a tablet.
Yeah. I mean, but do I need to carry the goggles have to be on
GPS.
too?
And the thing is fully
so you want to fly line of sight, but not with the goggles on.
Like a regular Mavic? Yeah, you can fly like that.
But I want the floaty stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Switch into sport mode. Switch into sport mode, and you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, this is what I'm hoping for with this thing.
For anybody wanting to know, the Parrot does that too.
Yeah, but that's a parrot. That's that French thing. I'm a DJI fan. I need my fanboy shirt, like my Kovaction shirt. I need a fanboy shirt for DJI.
I just like to give recognition where recognition's due. That drone had all that stuff like a year and a half ago.
It was cool that the gimbal went all the way up like this.
Yeah. Well, that was a gimmick. I actually only used that like twice. But it did it's like one of its few last updates that was like more than a year ago. They did incorporate almost like a wing mode that, basically cross coordinated the roll and yaw. So when you turn the yaw, it would bank, just like this thing does.
I just flew. I flew my Mavic 2 last weekend before, like the weekend before this thing came out. I was like, maybe I don't need it. And I flew the Mavic 2 around in FPV mode, and I had my AR glasses on, and it was just awful. I mean, you'd bank the drone and then be like,
Well, also the video latency, the video latency on the Mavic 2, I would not recommend anybody flying like that, just because it's not as like milliseconds like you need it to be.
Yeah. Well, for me again, I could see the drone. I wanted to see if I could get the shots like when I swept it around a corner like an S-bend, if it would bank, and it didn't. It went like kind of like and like it was just like so jerky. It wasn't.
Not only that, and the path won't be the same. It'll be like almost like when you bank, it's banking, then you're flying kind of like
it was awful.
It was
a fail. There's no point in, they shouldn't even have that in Go 4. It was like a waste of time, but I had to try it finally.
Mike sent me something. That's what I was trying to listen to a minute ago. I thought he had figured out the startup. I thought it sounded like I was trying to see if he already had
Alien, man. The thing looks like Alien. It's awesome.
Okay, guys. Hey, Bill. Thanks for having me. I have to jump out. I have another meeting to jump into.
It's totally understood. We're great to have you on. We'll get you back on in the future, maybe after you get your FPV drone.
I love your channel, brother. So I did that earlier. I'm just checking out your stuff.
Oh,
yep, I'll send you a message here in the near future. We'll get back together.
All right, and I'll check your channel too, Chuck. Right. I haven't seen your channel yet.
All right, thank you, sir.
Take care, Don. Thanks for coming on with us.
Good seeing you, Don.
Thanks. Nice meeting you guys.
We'll see you around again, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
What is it? I'm trying to hear what it is. It says. Oh, it comes on and it says D shot detected, ready. It was kind of a neat startup.
That's Sean. The guy decinelike, doesn't it? The FPV drone is decinelike.
Yeah, it's like from what I've read, it's got the same specs as the Mavic Air 2.
Sweet. I mean, because that's why I bought an Osmo Action and stuff. I film everything in decinelike, so when I go to edit later, I can get the color right on everything.
Yep. I'm a big fan of
locking my white balance and all that stuff.
Y'all having this little inside party on Facebook. I see how it is.
I ran out of beer. I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, do you not? Okay, there's a private chat, Chuck. If you look over, there's a private chat over there, and everybody's playing over here amongst what all we're talking about in the chat too. So
I've been ignoring that. I was paying attention to our peoples.
Oh well, everybody's getting kind of rowdy. Dan's getting extremely.
This is rowdy. Why I hate John Cuppi.
And Dan, I'll be honest with you. I'm thrilled that you want to buy the drone and PP on it, but I don't think Nemo wants the flight controller after you PP'd on it. So that's cool. You can keep it to yourself. And I honestly, I don't see for me that the money is too much of an expenditure. To me, it seems like an expensive toy. I mean, yes, it can get some really, really good footage, but it seems more like a big toy to me. And I just can't, in my backyard, if I had this huge swooping area to fly in and stuff, I might be more interested in it, but I'd for sure crash it in my little backyard, because I'd end up doing something stupid with it eventually. I'd flip that switch.
Wow.
I mean, in all fairness, they're all toys. I mean,
no, they're not. They're flying cameras, man.
They're toys. They're toys.
It's a serious photographic.
He hasn't flown a camera drone in years.
You're a DJI guy for sure. These are not toys.
It's a tool. This thing is a tool, man. That's what I use it for. I want to get stuff. It's awesome, and that's how I get it from the air.
But he hasn't flown a camera drone in years, so you just have to realize that.
Okay. I mean,
they got boring. It was just boring. I mean, you would fly. I mean, there was nothing to it anymore. It just couldn't.
That's why DJI is trying to get into it too, because they see that. They see the market changing before their eyes, and they're trying to take the Mavic guys over and get them into FPV because they see an opportunity to get us to do that.
Well, I will say what I think Drone Worship Moto Vlogs was saying, how it will teach you bad habits if you really want to go.
That's
switch over to FPV and all acro. You're going to learn some bad habits.
Ken Dono said last night that he was afraid that he already learned some bad habits just trying the thing out.
Yeah,
but I think there are a lot of people who are going to buy this who have no desire to graduate to acro, to graduate to full manual. They just
kind of like what Chuck
there you go. Two hands are up already. Their goal is not to do that. Their goal is to buy this, stay in the assisted modes, and a lot of people will just never go that way because they're not interested in it. They're not interested.
And you're going to get a lot of that long sweeping footage like you would get from a long range FPV.
That's what I'm going for, and that's what Sean's going for too.
And for me, I don't want it. For me, I don't want
my neighbor's wife.
The DJI.
Well, that'll be more like this, but again, you know, but
we've already been down that path earlier in the show.
Well, it's good to revisit that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah,
you never get.
But
tired.
you know what? This is what I really. So the main reason why I got this is because I really want to do like long range mountain dives because we're about 3 hours away from Lake Tahoe and it's just gorgeous mountainsides up there. And taking my FPV drones out there, it makes me so nervous because if I lose connection or if something happens, it's gone. You know, there's no getting it back. Where, you know, if I had something like this where I could hit the return to home button, you know what I mean? That's my main thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I think, one, this is going to build my confidence for doing this long range stuff. And two, I hope that it kickstarts some, you know, the beta flight developers or KISS developers or Flight One developers to recognize that we're getting to the point in FPV where I really think the next level is going to be adding some of these features like GPS. The emergency stop button, I think, is genius on this thing. You know, if you had something like that on a regular FPV drone with the GPS, with the return to home, with those safeguards in place, you know, you'd have a lot more people building and just sending their stuff.
I mean, so you can kind of basically already get that though with iNav. iNav takes care of a lot of what you're talking about there. You can build a 6-inch, 7-inch long range cruiser, throw iNav on there and go with it. I think we're probably going to start to see some bind and flies also support that kind of thing because Flywheel Explorer, I don't know if you've ever heard of that one. It's kind of a popular little long range 4-inch quad there. Flywheel actually now has an iNav target that they're testing. And I saw somebody replace the GPS on that model with one that has a compass, and they put a video up. It does return to home. It lands. It hovers. It's almost just like this thing. So I think we are getting there, and in some ways we almost are already there through iNav. You just have to do a specific build to get it. So you could do that and have confidence where you're flying. Well, you know, this FPV drone.
So I tried iNav like a year ago, and I had a GPS with a compass and whatnot. It was really, really difficult to get the compass to calibrate correctly. You had to do some weird thing to get it to calibrate correctly. And in the OSD, it didn't even tell you if it was done correctly or if it recorded the home point. So you would saw, okay, I have 8 satellites. I guess it's going to record the home point. And then you go and fly, but you don't know with confidence if it's going to work. And that's my thing.
Fair enough. H in the goggles when like you're flying the FPV drone, it has the home point and it shows up like floating over your head.
Yep. Even when I fly my Mavics, if I don't hear that home point recorded, I know not to drift too far, not to go take off yet.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because it has.
I do know. I don't know what iNav is like myself 100% because I haven't tried it. I just know that over the last year, there's been a lot of development in iNav. So maybe that problem isn't as prevalent anymore because it does seem like there's just more and more people using iNav for that kind of thing. Because that's a huge concern. If you're going to be flying your quad over an area where you're just not going to be able to get to it, you need to have some kind of GPS, some kind of return to home. You do. You really do.
So
I mean, like the beta flights return to home. If the beta flight returned to home, right, and you know what it does if it doesn't work right, but it won't tell you. It just disarms and falls out of the sky.
Ooh, right, which is bad. I mean? Which is really bad.
That's the worst thing you want it to do. You know,
right? But I don't think iNav does that.
Right,
Ethan, did you see this question?
Yeah, I'm answering it right now.
All right, cool. iNav is hard. Okay.
I think it's kind of a different. I mean, it's long range FPV has been around for a while, but I think that a lot of people are trying to use like freestyle quads and stuff like that for these long range, and they want all these features on them. And I don't know, I've never wanted a any kind of barometer, or I don't even fly with an accelerometer on. I just go and fly freestyle and do.
Right, but if you were flying a mountain range or something like that, where if there was an issue and you lost signal or something like that, you would want to have a GPS on there to be able to save your butt and come back home, or at least try to get something back, right? Because one little incident out there and you're kind of done, dude. So that's why people look toward that for those kinds of flights.
Honestly, I don't really go long range. If I can't hear it, then I'm bringing it back closer to me. Which I mean, I've got crossfire, so it's not gonna, and I have video. I never lose video, so that's just how I fly. So this kind of, all these things y'all are talking about, like GPS and all that stuff, it's just kind of like, I'm like, I don't get it. But I'm not saying that, I understand where y'all are coming from.
Yeah, I don't run a GPS on any of my. I don't run a GPS on anything. I initially bought one and then didn't end up using it because there's really no point. If it's right there, just walk and go get it. Like, I don't need a GPS to bail me. Like that to me, that's ridiculous. I don't need that. But for like real long range, you really should run a GPS, or you're really risking just losing it if something happens to your video or your control link or anything. Hopefully we see more development in that area. I agree with Ethan, and we already are seeing development in it.
Well, I think, and another thing, like the confidence, I mean, going to just like, going to the DJI FPV system, the goggles and the clarity gives you that confidence to fly like closer and tighter to things. I want to have that same confidence, and I want to have that same kind of confidence that I have when I'm flying like one of my camera birds. I know if I fly off somewhere and I lose radio connection for whatever reason, I know it's going to come right back to me. You know what I mean? I'm 100% confident. I want to have that same level of confidence with my FPV drones, especially when I'm flying out to mountains and stuff like that. That's what I would like to see.
And I'm not going to lie, with this setup off the shelf, of course you're going to have that confidence.
So what were the long range FPV guys doing before? I mean, were they just like sending it, and if it came back, they lost? there had to be.
That's it. Yeah, that was it. If they lost their GoPro or something happened, they were done. I mean, they had GPS. GPS, I think, has been a feature of beta flight for a while now, and I think even people were doing stuff back when clean flight was a thing as well. But if you lost it, you lost it. That was it.
Yeah, it's interesting that beta flight, the newer versions, even have the switch in there that turn the compass on and off, but there's no features in there that actually use it. So I don't even know why it's in there right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I wish they would just take some, because iNav does have features in there for optical flow sensor and the IR sensor and ultrasound sensors, so it'll do the position hold stuff, but and it's all basically the same. I don't know why they don't just copy and paste that into the beta flight firmware.
Okay, here's the thing. I want to know. Okay, everybody knows what the features are on the new DJI FPV drone. How close could you get for the same amount of money with present FPV technology? And I'm talking the stabilized swooping flight and everything. And how close could you get?
Are you talking about footage, or are you talking about features on the drone?
I'm talking about everything. So you got
you can't get it right now. You can't get it at all in FPV. There's no FPV that you could build that's going to have those return to home features like that to the T with all that other stuff.
Yeah, not to mention the integrated camera and all that stuff. I mean, look, it's a different experience.
Or the safety switch. You're not going to have an integrated camera that does 4K 60 with Decini. You're not going to have that HD all in one package like that. Yeah,
no, it doesn't exist.
You can't. Yeah.
And Chuck, I sent him the link. I don't know if he's looked at it or not.
He's paying attention to the peoples. He's not looking.
I did.
The most comparable setup.
Nemo, I decided to multitask.
Oh shit!
Which my wife says I can't do, so I gave it a whirl anyway.
Well, Keith, I sent you the link to come in and join us since you have your FPV drone, because Chuck was suggesting it, but he hasn't accepted my friend request, nor has he noticed that I sent him the link.
He's writing to me on Discord. He just do we get Now, mind you, he's in Thailand, so it's like 10 o'clock in the morning there. But I think he just got cleaned up.
Oh,
so
okay. That's what Billy said, but then Billy left.
Hey, look what Drone Shot said.
Wait a
What
minute.
did Drone Shot say?
What did Drone Shot
It
say?
will return to home with iNav just like any Mavic.
Wow.
Full guy in a
I
drone.
didn't ask earlier, like, is
Mitch was talking about it?
Yeah, iNav does return to home just like a Mavic. That's true. I've seen people do it, and I saw a video with the Flywheel Explorer. Somebody
it'll come and land and everything.
It does, and he had a landing pad and everything. And the Flywheel is a quad that I'm getting in here just probably any day now. And I'm gonna try the GPS on it if I'm okay with the way it works. Which it's not gonna self land because it doesn't have a compass and all that crap, but. Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
He's getting the info on the Mavic 3 as we speak.
Nice. I was going to ask you about satellites. So, like, do we need?
So,
like
what
12?
sensors do you need to have to get iNav to do all that stuff?
That's a good question, though. Chuck just asked, how many satellites are you going to need to follow the DJI FPV?
Is it like 12? Is it like 12 is the rule of thumb?
Yeah,
I think
it's the same number, like 12 satellites, something like that.
Wait a minute. That's gonna okay. So. An FPV pilot's going to have to wait on satellites to fly. Man,
here, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And also, I want to know: does iNav tell you if it recorded the home point? That's like one of the things I can't stand about Betaflight is that you don't know if it's going to work or not. The return to home stuff.
Yeah,
and then you got to use it, and if it's not working, it'll just disarm and fall out of the sky. That's
So I did hear one tip, Ethan, that if you want to see if it's working,
what up,
fly it out,
Billy?
Oh, hey, what's going on?
This gentleman's been flying it for a while.
Not worthy.
So Billy's the man, the DJI man.
He is. He was Billy Kyle tech support last night for Ken. That was awesome, man. Can I call you too? Because I have this thing. How do I use this thing, Billy?
You know what? I went to go and update it to the new firmware today, and it took 35 minutes to download the 0.9 megabyte file, and then after that, it wouldn't install. So I got no idea. I haven't even really used it all that much. Did you download DJI Assistant?
Not yet. But I feel I'm going to have to probably do that because that's how I did my Mavic 2 and stuff originally, and the smart controller and all that.
That's what I'm probably going to have to do to update update it, which is whatever.
I know it's stupid, but that's how they roll when they first release stuff. It's typical.
Yeah, and that you bring up an interesting point there because this is like such a first generation product that you wonder what else they're going to add and what they have in the pipeline.
There'll be stuff, yeah.
Because you even with like a drone that's been more developed, like a Mavic Air 2 or a Mini 2 will get updates after the fact. So you just got to wonder what they have in store for this.
I know the initial update on the drone took a half hour.
Yeah, you just got to imagine how many things need to update. The drone, the controller, the battery, the goggles. You have 4 things,
Yeah.
Did you get any new updates, Billy?
No, just the one that came out on the day of. So the same one that everybody got. And I'm kind of bummed out that you can't access any of the settings through the Fly app, which is kind of a bummer. If it's basically just a screen out, which is nice if you think about it, because the only way you could really view somebody's goggles on the go is if you had the $800 smart controller.
This is OcuSync 3 though, isn't it, Billy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it backward compatible to OcuSync 2 like a smart controller? If you're crazy enough to fly that way?
With the smart controller, you don't fly it with it. You would just plug in USB-C to USB-C on their goggles.
Oh, okay.
So you'd be sharing a video output. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah. But so the DJI Fly app for your phone works the same. But it'd be nice to be able to change the settings and stuff through there.
Yeah, agreed.
Ask him your question, Chuck, about using a phone.
Well, I was kind of thinking like my Moverio glasses. I want to connect them up, and I was wondering if I could plug them into the bottom of this bad boy, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
When I was trying to update that, I tried to plug my phone directly into the bottom of the motion controller, and I got nothing. So I doubt there's any sort of signal. I think it's just a charging port and update port. So it looks like everybody got. It looks like a lot of people got their motion controllers. I see Geeksvana has it.
Yeah,
I see.
this game. Yeah.
You guys have just
I got this before the drone.
Really?
The drone's tomorrow.
Okay.
Fly more Saturday.
Well, hey, it's great that they're shipping out. I went to Best Buy yesterday just because I was stopping in, and on the morning of, they actually had one in stock you could buy and pick up that same day. I don't know who got it, but they had one on display. They had the actual drone itself, and the battery was in there. And sometimes they have a like a dummy unit. It's just like fake and it weighs nothing.
Yeah, fake. Yep.
This one was real, had everything inside of it, and the battery wasn't locked down. Like I took the battery out and held it separately, and I told the guys, you got to lock that down because someone's gonna take it.
Yeah, someone's gonna liberate it.
Yeah,
Well, I'm in Syracuse, and I couldn't get one out of Best Buy in Syracuse, but they just shipped it. And
now Chuck feels like he's taking over.
I'm in command comm. I'm command comm.
You're in the middle.
I'm using this to control everybody. It's a mind control device.
All right,
know
Chuck,
that.
it's your job to introduce Keith to everyone.
So this is my really good friend Keith we met on Droning On, actually.
What's up, Keith?
Ash.
Hi, Billy. Hi, guys.
Hey, Keith. How's it going?
He is
I'm doing fine. Haven't had a lot of sleep. I was up playing with a new toy until very late last night. I just keep switching it on. I mean,
oh my God,
man. Turn it on. Go ahead. You and Geek Sonic can do it in stereo.
Hey, can we get stereo? Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. You guys do it on 3. You ready?
Oh, hang on.
See, this is blue. I told you it's blue.
Nemo, they're so enamored by just turning it on.
All right, you all can go smoke now.
Do you believe this?
We are simple creatures, us drone nerds.
Hey, every time you turn that on, Trappy punches a baby in the face.
So, did everybody see Keith does our 2K drone show on Saturdays every fortnight, and he did the opening. It was the James Bond thing for our 7th episode. Did you guys see his work? Because
that was awesome. I loved it.
It's amazing.
That's what you need to do, something gimmicky like that for your reviews of the drone, because there's going to be a shitload of reviews for this drone.
Oh yeah,
and they're all going to. Go ahead.
Speaking of gimmick, that motion controller I thought was going to be a gimmick at first, but I actually don't think it is. I see you guys got it, which is cool. And I was wondering what the perception would be of it when it was released, because I think it actually has a place. I think you could actually seriously use it and seriously have some fun with it just for a totally different experience. So, there's things that come out that are usually pretty gimmicky, but that is one of them that I was like, this is actually probably going to catch on pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I actually got one is that I bought or I got mine from one of the only UK DJI dealers, and they had them in, and I thought, well, I haven't seen anybody else the other sort of Best Buys of the UK and that type of thing even have them, so I thought it's probably a good opportunity just to get one while you could, while someone's got one type thing. And I have to say that I haven't even updated it. I did an unboxing on it earlier, and I kept the cellophane on it to make the unboxing a bit more fun, etc. So that it was my first reaction. And the quality is pretty good. I didn't expect this to feel as solid, and
it does have a good feel.
Yeah, it's of course it's DJI, so it's going to have good quality.
FT Aviator, who?
One question for you,
no,
as someone who has
a pile of crap.
As I've never flown FPV before.
I'm going to squeeze my albuterol inhaler so I don't feel left out.
Don't interrupt me, Bill.
I did.
What do you think? This is your show or something?
Yeah,
no, man, I'm down here on the bottom.
Right, don't start, Cuppi. Cuppi, don't start. This is going to become like one of those, those weird game shows.
They're going to make us stay after class
couple of tips. Every time I go for the question, shut it. What couple of tips would you give a camera drone flyer to fly this drone?
So if you look,
I
at my
am literally
today,
basic boy.
Yeah, so today I did a video on the 6 flight modes, because there's normal mode, there's 3 different versions of the sport mode, and then there's 2 different versions of the manual mode. So you'll probably be able to get in sport mode and feel comfortable, and you can change the roll angle because this drone banks. It banks left to right. It doesn't have a 3-axis gimbal. So I'd recommend getting, normal mode first couple of flights, just bang around, just get a feel for the drone, and then from there flip into the sport mode where you unlock the full speed of the drone being 60 miles an hour and that GPS aided flight. So you've still got it flying like a Mavic. And then you can kind of get a feel for it rolling from side to side. And then if you actually go into manual mode and use the attitude limit as you're flying around, if you go into manual mode, there's an attitude limit so that as you fly the drone, it can't just like tip over and fall down to the ground.
Okay.
So it controls how far it can roll. So you could try to do a flip and it would come to a hard stop. So you get a feel for how, like, you could go up 400 feet and you could really just get a feel for how the drone maneuvers using that. And then once you take that off, and you're going to feel like, okay, now I can do these flips. So get a feel for manual while you're flying around with the attitude limit on. And then, you know, after you do a couple flights of that, try it with it off. And remember that even if you're up high, you've got the pause button and you've got the flight mode switch. So you can just quickly flip it in normal mode just in case.
Thank you.
Yeah, that attitude limit is really great. And I had it on one time by accident, and I was like, I can't flip. What's wrong? What's wrong? So when I turned that off, then I had the full manual control. But the first thing that I did, like, I was flying with one of my buddies. He flies drones all the time, and I said, look, just flip it into manual, just see what happens. And I had my eye on it, and as soon as he flips, he goes, all right, I'm in manual. I hear it go woo, straight down to the ground, and it's literally flying in a straight path down towards this lake we were flying over. And he goes, bro, I'm going down. And I just flipped over and I hit, you know, normal mode on it. So just use that attitude limit, because the easiest way to get messed up when you first start is getting upside down, because then you get all disoriented.
Get inverted and confused. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I've just started your video actually, and it's come up with your graphic with the 6. Yes. I didn't realize there was a mode between sport and full manual. So that's
a great video.
A bit more excited actually.
I've noticed that. Sorry, Billy. You go.
No, you got it. I was just gonna. I don't know.
I tried sports mode on the sim, and coming as a Mavic pilot, that extra 20 miles an hour is quite something. And the first time I did it, because they make you fly a course around a factory, and I banked it round no problem. But then you got quite a sort of tight bank, and I just slammed it straight into the because I was just like, Christ, like it even in sports mode, I wouldn't necessarily compare it to a Mavic, because it's a lot quicker, and you in when you've got the goggles on, you feel it even in the sim. I mean, I had to stop using the sim after about 15-20 minutes because I was getting a bit sort of motion sickness, which I believe when you're flying it, you know, in reality, you don't get that motion sickness the same you do with the sim. I think.
What do you guys think of
the graphics?
How many of you guys have flown it on the simulator so far?
It's a bit dodgy because it keeps coming up with Chinese language randomly, and
for Android.
the English voiceover is not DJI's usual quality, should we say? Living where I do, I've heard better English accents here.
In Thailand.
Well, give me just a split second. Gary's got to take off because he's got to build airplanes tomorrow, so he's going to tell everybody good night.
That's sweet.
So
nice.
Go for it, Gary. Let me get you up here.
It was great coming in here talking to you guys and trying to warn you about going to full FPV, but I want everybody to record their flight videos when they decide to go to full manual, and I'll be yes, please. I want to see that. I definitely do. I wish you guys all the best. I do. I hope you actually get into it.
Thank you.
And you learn how to fly, because that's a lot of money, and I wouldn't spend that actually on a actual analog FPV quad, even a digital one if I ever flew it, which I won't. But anyway, it was good seeing you guys, and
you too, buddy.
I'll see you.
I'm gonna rent one.
Great to meet you, man.
There's a place locally called Blue Skies, man. I'm gonna rent one.
Oh yeah, Blue. I've rented like a drone or two from them before.
Well, they're just over the hill in Bothell, for me, like 50 miles away.
Oh,
they had to ship it to me.
What was that thing where you could fly somebody else's drone around the planet? Ken Herron did it once.
Drone does it a lot, right?
Could you do that with your FPV drone? Let somebody else fly it?
I don't know if the latency is there. I
think you're right, Billy. I think you're right.
So the simulator is great. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say, to Nemo's point though, real quick, since you guys got those DJI V2 goggles, you guys are like half of the way there. If you do want to go ahead and
half of the way there, you talk some crap. This is why I hate John Cuppi. This is why I hate John Cuppi. Come on, halfway there.
I'm glad I'm the mediator here. I'm feeling a little heat.
You are. You're right in the middle. Look at that.
Well,
Billy's the moderator.
I'm still
Billy, just like this. Keep them apart.
I'm still waiting on Billy to drive out here. He says, I'm going to drive out to Seattle. I swear, man.
It's kind of a shame that the DJI transmitter for that drone won't work with the air units. I kind of expected it not to. So you guys,
I really hope they change. I hope they change that.
I don't see how they're going to change it.
I was told early on it would.
Is that true? Because it has the same V2 version on it as the goggles do. It says V2 on it. So surely it says DJI controller V2. So surely that indicates that it's going to work with the other air units.
Well, I mean, it won't work with the air units that we have now. And at the moment...
Yeah, but that's because it's DJI. They're going to release a newer version that you're going to then have to buy.
They might,
I think that's what they want. I think they want new air units. I think that they're like chomping at the bit for something that's new, quite frankly, from what I've heard.
Just like we'd already confirmed, Billy, before you got here, if you don't already have your Mavic 3, it will be in the mail in a couple of days.
The cloud, the Mavic cloud.
Kind of interesting, though, because I haven't seen any leaks, any nothing about an air unit version 2. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, I think that they did a good job of releasing this drone because they're going to capture a big audience of people who want to fly FPV. And then once they start selling their own components, then, they'll cash in on people that want to build their own drone, which it would be great if they could just sell everything, like literally everything that you need, because it would make it a lot easier if it was all one company.
I'm almost wondering if there are like limited supply of everything right now, and they wanted to like sell these packages off first because they even stopped selling the individual V2 goggles.
Really?
Well, did you all know that there's an advantage for living in the UK also? Sean was telling me earlier that they're actually going to be able to repair the drone or is this a wrong thing?
No. I
was like, no, did I say something I wasn't supposed to?
No, not at all. Yeah, the dealer that I have, because I thought it was really weird because pre-launch, they were starting to talk about, let me bring it up on the website so I can actually give the full details. But they were talking about something called, rather than care refresh, they were calling it repair refresh. And I thought, oh, okay, is that what DJI is calling it this time? And it turns out that it's actually this dealer's repair refresh. And if I try and find the actual details to it again, I will tell you.
Isn't there like an EU law about right to repair and stuff like that, which I know doesn't necessarily apply to the UK anymore, but
right to repair.
It's just with Apple stuff.
Put mine on State Farm with the rest of the stuff, and I'll make one claim, and then they'll dump me. But at least,
right. So it's called the DJI FPV Combo Repair Refresh, and so they will cover you comprehensive repair refresh policy, covering you against damage. In general, it's a company called HeliGuy. A repair refresh is up to 50% cheaper than DJI Care Refresh. It also means that you're covered for a fraction of the price for any damage. So what happens is they'll repair or replace the item you claim on with the DJI FPV combo. So if your drone is broken, we'll activate repair refresh against that, or if your goggles break, we'll activate the policy against those. So it's either or. And then it lasts up for a year and expires on your first successful claim. So I did take that because they are a very well known company. They're as I said, they are one of the only DJI official dealers here in the UK, and they've got a very good name. I've got other friends, and one of our co-hosts runs a very big drone company on Geeksvana, and he gets a lot of his high-end equipment from them. So I kind of thought I can trust them to fix this if I break it. And that was £159.
That's pretty good.
Which is pretty decent.
Not bad.
Well, here's something interesting to note, right? Because they are obviously charging for DJI Care, and I did some math. I was talking on Philly Drone Light's show last night, so I actually got the math wrong because I had wrong numbers. But, if you look at like the Mavic 2 Pro, when you purchase DJI Care Refresh, the 1-year plan, it's 10% of the cost of just the drone, right? Because you can buy just the drone for like $14.49. At the end of the day, that's what you're covering. It's just the drone. So it's $149. It's 10% of the drone. And then when you actually get a replacement, it's $119. So you're paying, what is that? About $270, which is like 18% of the total cost of the drone. But just the FPV drone coming in at $739, right off the bat for Care Refresh, you're spending 27% of the cost of the drone, which is more than what, just Care Refresh and the whole thing costs for the Mavic 2 Pro. And then if you file a claim and if you get a replacement, you spend $259. That is 62% of the cost of a brand new drone, a brand new FPV drone. So their markups are a lot higher on this one than we've seen in the past.
Yeah. Damn it, Sam! I almost choked
I'm
on
assuming
my jelly
because
belly.
they know
Sam burns. So am I. So am I. Actually, I am also naked apart from my Geeks Fire t-shirt.
That's right.
I almost choked on my jelly bellies, man.
That's all they
That's
were.
what she said.
I saw that.
What I find is like they probably assume that like with 18% of the cost, it's probably around like 18% of people who buy Care Refresh that are expecting are going to crash the drone and send it in. So that's like their idea, their margin of error. So if they're guessing like 62% of people are going to send this in, God, they must have been looking like at eyes with dollar signs when they were making this drone.
Oh, it's funny you bring that up because there were some people that saw the Care Refresh cost, including me, and I was like, holy crap, that's what the Care Refresh cost is going to be. So then they really do expect this thing to maybe be crashed to hell.
It's like insuring a Cavalier versus insuring like a Corvette. I mean, you're flying.
Well, I had a different expectation, honestly, for it. See, a lot of the FPV groups, they were crapping on this thing, and they were saying, "Oh, this thing's gonna break the first." And I was thinking to myself, "No way!" I'm like, DJI thought ahead. They had to have maybe done something different. Like they know that, but then I saw like those Care Refresh costs, and I was like,
"Yeah, they know."
No, I guess they didn't.
Billy's right. They know.
Yeah, they know.
You can't get Care Refresh here anyway, so if I brick this thing, it's going to be expensive. So I'm going to be flying it with kid gloves. To be honest, I'm going to before I even dare to put it in manual mode. I'm going to be on that sim for a while.
So
I don't
think about it this way. Like I know that a lot of people who bought this drone bought it with Care Refresh, and you just got to think like if you know you're going to crash, like I'm going to crash this thing, buy Care Refresh, because if you have to get a second drone, it's certainly less than buying a full-on drone. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it is pretty expensive. I've never bought Care Refresh for any of my drones, and I won't buy it for this one. I won't, because
the DJI FPV drone is not called Flash; it's called Cash.
So Keith, what happens if a monkey in Thailand gets a hold of the controller like it did your controller?
That is not happening.
That'd be great. I want to see a video be viral with the monkey wearing the goggles and like flying.
We discussed it earlier that DJI knew that it was going to crash because they are selling the support arms or the arm supports on the site.
Yeah,
already.
But again, you can't get those for love nor money. I mean, you guys that have got the motion controller and the Fly More kits, you're really lucky, because I haven't been able to get one. I can't source the batteries from the UK because they can't send them here, so I have to wait for the batteries to come here. But the motion controller I can't find anywhere except one place in the US. And then that went to 15 days. Yeah. But I really want that motion controller because, like you said, Billy, I still have see
in the UK.
Let me send you one, Keith. I can get one from Best Buy and send you one.
Well, I do see that this is going to open up something. I've been watching a few people using it, and it does look really cool. It looks like a real unique way to fly the drone, and I think, and it works. It seems to work.
What I find to be pretty interesting is that I wonder, because I haven't tried it, like what type of range are you going to expect from something like this? Because on the remote you've got a full antenna, but on the motion controller there's no physical antenna. It could be built into the drone, but it's certainly not going to be. Regardless, it's certainly not going to be as strong as what you've got in your remote controller. So I wonder. Yeah, it looks like a thermometer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm expecting it.
Look, it looks like an Osmo Osmo Pocket like 4 that's been broke the gimbal off.
This is going to show my age, but it looks like a Scalextrics controller to me. You know what? I had Scalextrics.
This is just cruel, man.
Yes,
yeah,
that's crazy.
You all see this, right? So 19 miles away, there's one. 36 miles away, there's one.
You can't get them here. They're telling me it's a month before they come.
I was telling Keith that if Keith had one sent to my house, then I could get it over the pond, across the pond to him in Thailand. But I think the battery's a concern, right? You said the battery's a concern.
Again, because it's a battery. I luckily contract for a logistics company, so I can get stuff pretty much picked up. But one thing that's an issue is battery. Yeah, it's the batteries. So I'll have to find out. But if I can, then yeah, that's the way I'll get it, because they're talking about a month here before we see any accessories whatsoever, batteries, spare props, the lot. So
you a lot of stuff, Keith.
Just another break-in. Ethan needs to get some rest because he's got to go back and take care of people tomorrow. So
yep,
and I'll let him say his good evenings, folks.
Well, it was great hanging out with you guys tonight. We got a lot of exciting news, and I hope everybody has fun with the new toys. And look forward to putting up some videos on this thing. So, and I guess I will see you guys next week. Talk to you later.
Nice
Later.
Have a good one. Thank you, Sam.
See you guys.
You take care.
You see what Steve said? The ones that they were offering to sell me were the display units.
Well, they're real. So I walked in, I picked it up, I was surprised it was real. I was like, damn.
Wow.
Yeah, they are real.
So Ethan's making the jump to get the FPV drone.
Wow.
That blows my mind, man.
That does actually. I didn't expect.
And I'm sorry, I haven't had these in like 2 years. So I'm binging over here. So I'm going to ask everybody, what's your favorite flavor of Jelly Belly?
None
All
of them.
jelly
They're
beans
the
are
worst.
gross. I
They're-
can't stand them.
I like jelly beans, but Jelly Belly is always like just bizarre. There's like coffee. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Buttered popcorn is my favorite.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh
yes.
my God.
yeah.
Oh.
I concur.
If I want buttered popcorn, I'd go to the microwave.
It just the thing about it is
It's
it
wild
blows,
that, it's so
it
wild
blows
that
my
they
mind
taste.
that a jelly bean that tastes just like
Yeah,
popcorn.
exactly.
I mean, they got it nailed. Too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like Cuppi's going to jump through the thing and strangle me. But even if I had the ability, like, hey, you know, you could fly a different drone, like a fully built FPV drone, I don't think I would do it. And like I did a flight today that I recorded, and I flew down the river, and I was about, you know, like 4,000 feet away, and I was like, I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing this with an FPV drone other than DJI's. It wouldn't feel like as I don't know what the word is. I wouldn't feel as confident doing it because I know that there's so many of those fail safes built into place.
Yeah, which is actually what Ethan was saying before,
right?
And obviously Ethan is a true FPV pilot, and he was saying it's doing the long range in the mountains, etc., and knowing he can press the return to home button, and the drone's going to come back. That's really
and
what,
I agree with
what
that.
he's looking for. So.
Yeah. And I agree with him on that. That yeah, if you're going to be flying over water, if you're going to be flying over mountains, if you're going to be flying anywhere, that if something happens, that's it. You're done with a traditional FPV drone, unless you're running a GPS, unless you're running a full GPS setup, and it's not super easy to put together. So to that point, yeah, the DJI FPV drone is great for that.
Now, I know there's a difference in risk from the point of view of being on board it. But for instance, I'm happy to fly a 747 built by Boeing. I'm not happy to fly a 747 built by Sean.
Yeah,
that's the other thing for me with FPV is that, you know, I don't trust myself necessarily to get everything right every time and that type of thing, frankly. And yeah, I'm more than happy for Uncle DJI to build my drones for me.
Here's the thing though. I was gonna say, now here's the thing that's a little backward to me, coming from FPV. Like you guys are so happy to like have a bailout button and all this stuff, and I'm just thinking, if I was flying this thing in full manual, I would be stressed. I would actually be stressed out because of the cost of it. Because this, I can pile drive this thing into the ground doing, you know, acro.
I understand that.
And everyone's like, oh, I feel so good. I have a return to home button. I have a stop button. But this, you don't need that. You literally don't need that.
You have to remember, I didn't buy an FPV drone. I bought a slightly more cinematic Mavic. Is really how I saw it.
You already admitted that you bought a chick magnet.
Yeah, it is so I can go to a bar and tell girls.
He's gonna fire it up and have to
right.
I'm gonna put on my stick-on tattoos.
You just have to fly down the street and all the girls will follow it.
Can we sort of
drones will follow it?
Right, like I just feel like if you're gonna put, depending on what situation you put this FPV drone in, it may not be the best tool for that job. And I know some people are gonna try to do things like try to fly really, really tight gaps when they shouldn't. You're better off doing something like
I got a question. Billy, can you use it to shoot real estate?
You know, I have a really good relationship with this one guy, and I was like, dude, the next home that I shoot for you, it's all going to be at 100 miles an hour with a race drone. But no, I mean, look, that was a point that I made in my video that I was hoping John would like, is like, you know, if you look at it from both sides, like if an FPV drone guy said like, oh, this is the best camera drone, we'd be like, are you stupid? But then on the other side, like with us saying, oh, this is the best FPV drone, those guys are like, are you stupid? So, you know, it's very much like, you know, an in-between drone. It kind of doesn't do like one thing like amazing. It's that perfect gap bridger. But I think that they're making that so that if they come out with a fully fledged FPV drone in the future, it's going to be, you know, like all the GPS guys are going to be like on it.
Billy, it's funny you bring that up because I know somebody, Perth West OZRC, you don't know him, but Bill does. He was telling me, wow, I don't have anything from DJI, and I really like this thing because it seems like I can get a little bit of a Mavic, a little bit of FPV, and I can have like a little of all those worlds all in one in this drone. And he's actually really, really interested in getting it because of what you just said there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's put it this way: is if DJI released this as a camera drone with no FPV capabilities, would you buy it as a camera drone? You wouldn't. And if DJI released it with just an FPV drone without all the smart stuff in it, like, you know, return to home and pause button, would you get it? No. So it's nice that it blends. It's nice that it blends. Are you ready?
It's a business expense, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I write off my haircuts.
Well, hey, you need to look good for those videos.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, showing off because you got hair.
So something that I found interesting today. Today I was flying. Yeah, Bill should be the one. He's like, what
hair? What hair?
I was flying today, and I was showing off how I was flying down the river, and I was like, you know, it's great. I can just flip it into normal, flip my goggles up, talk to somebody, hover, and then I flip the goggles down. And so I went back into normal, and I started diving down, and there was these wires hanging across on like not just like little telephone wires, like massive installations, like 3 wires hanging across. And my first instinct to get away was to throttle up and pull back like an FPV drone rather than hit the button, which I found really interesting because as I've gotten more accustomed to flying manual, I'm instead going to take the route to get out of dodge using what that has to offer than hit the pause button. So that's not going to be a saving grace in every single situation.
That's good, and I'm glad you brought that up because there are actually a lot of people that I think are getting this and may have it in their head. Oh, I'm just gonna press this button, and no matter what, every situation is gonna say.
Yeah.
I know he's shaking his head, but there are people out there that are thinking that in their head.
Well, no, I know, and no, people are thinking that, but it's kind of like when you drive a car too. I mean, it takes you X number of milliseconds to get to the brakes. I mean, you see, oh dear, brakes, and then that's you.
I just think that people aren't going to understand what the true, I guess, power of that stop button is until they obviously break the drone and crash and say, wow, I should have pressed it sooner or something.
It's the oh shit button. I love that name. Billy called it the oh shit button.
He's been busting our balls all night long, and you see what he finally said.
Are you kidding me, Sam Burns? You have a Flywheel Explorer, for freak's sake. Why? Oh, no. Get out of here.
He's been busting our balls all night long.
Keith wants your camera. Sam, Keith wants the camera.
Get him out of here. Sam Burns, you're dead to me.
The speed is nice on it, though. I mean, I remember Ken at first was like, "Oh man, my FPV drone could torch that thing," but like it's quick, like it's fast.
I love the way it takes off, Billy. It's like,
yeah, it's really torquey. It's like it's there and then it's gone, even when you're in normal mode.
What are the avoidance sensors like in sport mode? Because that's quite fast for the sensors to be able to pick.
They won't work. So they don't work in sport mode, just like a regular DJI drone. But they are still like on, and they'll let you know when you're getting close to something, but they won't actually stop. It'll beep in your goggles and show red up above on the top of the screen. But that's kind of just DJI's way of saying, hey, maybe don't get so close to things. It's not actually gonna come to a stop. Because I could be 20 feet off the ground and it would still think, okay, he's really close, and it would beep. So I found it annoying. But it's really cool because if you use that hybrid sport mode, you can actually get shots that looks like you're flying a full on FPV drone, pending you don't want to do flips and stuff.
Yeah. No, awesome.
They should make it flash care refresh incident incoming warning. That's what they
like
should.
OnStar. Like OnStar.
When the red warnings flash, it goes cha-ching.
They call you up and
on
say,
tonight,
"Did you? We think you just. This is DJI. Did you just crash your FPV drone? Are you okay?
Yeah, right.
You need help."
I would advise
no.
that before you
No
fly it in
onboard memory.
sports mode, give if you've got an iPhone, try it in the simulator, because coming from a Mavic pilot, it is faster than the Mavic, and some people will not be ready for that.
I still think you guys should be forced to pass a simulator check. I know that's.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But
I was busting you earlier, but it's not a bad idea.
That's what I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna do before I put it in manual. Billy, I've got one question. Did they send you two when you got it?
Yeah.
Because they seem. Yeah, I thought they did. Yeah.
Redundancy.
So everyone.
Redundancy.
They sent one as just the FPV drone itself, and then one for the whole combo, which I guess is kind of like a like unbox it type of thing on your channel or whatever. I was always wondering like why they sold just the FPV drone, and I wonder how that's going to do, like how they're actually going to do in terms of sales of just the single drone, because I think like if let's say funds don't matter, I think if this is a drone that you're going to get and pour some money into, it'd be great to have two as a just in case. Do you know what I mean? So you have one that you just kind of keep in your backpack as a just in case. Maybe you can also trade flights on both drones, so you don't just keep flying 100 miles an hour on one of the drones.
Hey, Matt, Billy just said no, it doesn't have onboard storage.
Right? Yeah, there's so many things.
I think
the goggles has a micro SD card slot, so you put a SD card into it. Yeah. I like just like the onboard storage, I just find so many things that makes this such a first generation product. And we saw the leap that they took from original Mavic Pro to Mavic 2 Pro. I can't wait to see FPV drone 2, because I think that they have the ability to make it lighter, maybe a little bit more crash resistant.
So in a year's time, we'll have an FPV drone 2.
You will.
Well, look at the difference between Mavic Pro and Mavic 2 Pro. Was it like 2.5 years? So I wonder. I really do wonder what they would do and what the turnover cycle for this type of drone is. But I mean, if they can make it to a point where I can use my remote already and my goggles already and just sell me the drone, it's going to be more enticing to buy it sooner than having to buy an $1,800 Mavic every year.
I agree. And what if the battery is compatible too? Then you just that'd be nice too. But assuming that they want to make it smaller, I would be okay if they had different batteries, because that's true.
And that's another huge thing about this drone is I don't have to worry about burning my house down. I mean, John, you have firsthand experience of that, and that was something that I was like genuinely like concerned with and upset with.
They're going to make a nano FPV nano.
Nice
FPV mini.
Yeah, the batteries. You got to be careful with
FPV.
batteries.
Yeah, an FPV mini. That'd be awesome.
I was worried about the whole battery thing. And I mean, even just like keeping them, I haven't even taken them out of the box. I'm still worried even having them in my house.
I said that to look. What I was doing was the most dangerous thing you can do when you're charging batteries. You're putting them all on the same board, all in parallel. I did it for a long time. I never had a problem, and then one day it just blew up. That is like the worst scenario. It doesn't occur very often, but it can happen. It can happen, and it's something you need to watch out for when you do this. And the DJI batteries, they can explode too. It's just
yeah.
I mean,
charge mine on the fireplace mantle for that reason.
Too. Yeah, those should be in battery bags as well, no matter what drone you're like. I heard a story about like phantom batteries that like burned up somebody's apartment once, just had them out naked. It can happen to any light bulb.
They don't have a perfect track record either with their Mavic 2 Pro batteries bulging. I mean, it wasn't just like
bring that up.
a small group of them. I mean, anybody I speak to that has a Mavic 2 Pro has one that's bulged up.
Yeah, there's a mile-long thread on the groups about that.
Yeah,
I hate to say it. I'm knocking on wood, but my batteries, I have 6 of them for the Mavic 2, and the 3 that came with it are from August 2018.
Wow.
They're not swollen.
All right, that was it, man.
Yes, but you live in Syracuse, where it's ridiculously cold. Where I live in Thailand, and all 3 of them are bulged.
It's 36 Fahrenheit here, Keith, right now. Come on over, man.
My wife just told me if I thought I was going to buy an FPV drone, to expect to start speaking 3 octaves higher.
My wife gave me no heat whatsoever. She was like, she just shook her head.
You didn't tell her until after you bought it. It's pretty much similar to me. It's like I came down yesterday and said, I'm off to Bangkok, darling. Why? bought a new drone. Bye.
Well, we were watching. I had her watching them. We were watching reviews like Billy's stuff on YouTube and stuff last night, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got one." She's like, "You got one?" The roll of the eyes. Yeah, she knows. Just not our first rodeo. It's like, remember the 23rd of January a couple years ago when the Air came out, and I was like, "Oh, DJI's doing a release today." She's like, "You're gonna buy a drone, aren't you?" Yeah.
At least she's cool with it.
My wife.
Yeah, she's very cool with it. Yeah.
She'd give me shit for like a day or so, but she'd be cool with it too. But like I said, I just don't feel like I have anywhere I can fly. And when I was talking to Dawn and them earlier, the fields around here are a pain in the ass. I think I found one like 20 miles away that I'm going to spend $150 a year to be able to fly my drone. You know, and I'm thinking I don't want to spend another $1,600 and I'm going to turn around and want the Mavic 3 or the Mavic Air Cloud Ferry. Maybe the Ferry. They'll call it the Ferry. The DJI Ferry.
You know, I think it's about time. I think it's about time they called something the Mavic Billy. And I think
they're going to call it the Billy, man.
The Billy 3.
Kyle.
Well, you know what? I find it interesting because they're kind of revamping their whole naming scheme, which they changed OcuSync to O, just O3. I found that pretty weird. But, you know, they dropped the name Mavic from the Mini. So you've got to wonder, like, when they eventually come out with a new Mavic Pro, is it just going to be the DJI Pro? That doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right.
I wonder if they'll just call it the Mavic. I wonder if that's going to be the only Mavic, and they're going to use the name for that.
Yeah, potentially. I thought, and I've you know, the good old jungle drums tell me that the Mavic name is going to get dropped. My only issue with that thought process, and I'm wholeheartedly behind that because of the dropping the Mavic, dropping the Osmo, etc., that type of thing. I'm wholeheartedly behind that, and I think they very well could come up with a completely new name. My only issue is the amount of hype surrounding the Mavic 3. They could literally take this water bottle and put Mavic 3 on the side and sell 1 million units.
I know, right?
So if they don't bring something out called the Mavic 3, they'll bring this new amazing drone out that'll be, you know, a Phantom and a Mavic, and then you press a button and it turns into an Inspire and then back into an FPV drone, and someone will still be in the comments saying, "But where's the Mavic 3?" So
I know.
I think they almost need to get rid of that ghost out of the shell, as it were.
The way they've dropped the names is a bit confusing because you know the Osmo Pocket or the Pocket 2 still has Osmo written on it at the bottom, so it's like
it does.
It's almost like they designed it, they manufactured it, and then then some marketing
said, "Yeah, no, that's got to go. That's got to go."
But it's still written on it, and I think it's the same with them. I'm not sure about the Mini 2, but I believe that it still has Mavic written on it somewhere there as well.
I suspect it's the Mavic name on the Pro series, like the Mavic Pro 3 will exist, but the Mini can carry on with its own. Just the Mini name carries on well by itself.
Yeah,
just like
Mini is good,
it's identifiable.
Yeah, I mean, and then could you imagine calling it DJI Zoom? Like if they came out the new Mavic 2, like Mavic 3 Zoom, like calling
weird.
it Zoom. It's not a good name. So I think if they just keep the Mavic name for that, like if they called it the DJI Mavic.
That's the high end.
Yeah,
you know,
I like that.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of photos floating around of like the body of a Mavic 2 with the Inspire legs. I'm like, people are such idiots. Like,
that was.
I honestly don't see how they can bring out a Mavic 3 at the moment. I don't know what they're going to do. What are they honestly going to do? Is it going to be because they sort of did a platinum version of the original Mavic, and that's the only thing I think they can do because there aren't that many things you can do to it and keep it in that same price point at the moment.
4K 60.
It's not going to be in the same price point.
60.
It's not going to be in the same price point.
Yes, but you're not gonna bring out a £2,500 drone. No one's going to buy it, but. I think you're going to have to keep it within that similar area.
FPV drone, though. You know, they're not going to bring out a $1,400 FPV drone. No one will buy it.
Yeah,
we've all bought it. You know, we've literally everyone's bought it.
Yes, but
I know my county owns a whole fleet of Mavic Enterprise, so yeah, there'll be somebody out there to buy.
People bought an $1,800 Autel drone, and it's not made by DJI.
That's true.
Wait, they updated
But what can you do? What can you actually do on a consumer drone like
the
that?
The next flagshipy Mavic thing is going to be completely out of the box, and and that's again another reason why I feel like we might move away from the Mavic name potentially, because I think we're due something different on battery, and I think we're due something different on overall concept of the drone, especially looking at the EU, the UK drone laws now, and our new labeling systems and the changes that are coming around the world with that type of thing. I think we're on the cusp of something big happening. It might not be this launch, perhaps it's too soon for that, but I think we're on the cusp of something very big and concept changing to come with drones.
A new form of propulsion.
It's going to have two motors instead of 4. I mean, just drop the 2 motors. It's like perfect, right?
Perfect.
What happened to that
exactly.
What happened to that V copter or whatever?
Somebody said that in chat.
It literally didn't take off.
Yeah,
true. Well, so I think about like if you look at it from a professional standpoint, somebody who is a professional photographer, professional videographer, there's a lot of things that you could ask for in terms of the camera. So the camera is the number one thing that they could definitely upgrade, and everybody would buy it. Like as long as it comes with a new camera, everybody's going to buy it. Combine an optical zoom with the 1-inch sensor, or maybe even potentially a bigger sensor. Perfect.
And interchangeable cameras. I mean, like a
interchangeable cameras.
But that's the thing I think they're going to do, a bit like the Insta-1, I think it's called, the action camera where you can change out the lenses.
Magnetic mounts.
I think they're going to you can do that. You can buy a really expensive camera and stick on it, like, have a flying sort of AS3 or Sony sort of style. Yeah, that's the thing I think they're going to do.
I find it really interesting, and I think that there's things that they can do to catch up to Autel in the Evo. I mean, I made the video about the Mavic and the Evo. I still think I like the Mavic better than the Evo 100% for a lot of different reasons. Reliability, it's a lot smoother. But, there are things that they can do to catch up to them in terms of obstacle avoidance sensors and flight time. I think that their flight software is really efficient. So if you look at them, they used like a what's that?
We were talking about what could the next camera do. We've got 6K, 8K cameras out now. DJI doesn't have anything that shoots that.
But why would you want to? What?
I'm not saying that it makes sense. I'm just saying they don't have one.
I think for me, but
I find the Autel Evo 2 8K just totally missed the mark, because it's great to have that marketing buzz for having like an 8K drone. But, anybody that's looking for a drone that shoots 8K is not going to consider that, because they're on a high-end movie production. And they don't want an 8K video file written to a small little SD card. I mean, it's such a horrible codec,
You need a crazy supercomputer to edit this stuff.
Yeah, and that's also the other fact. So they really missed the mark. I mean, nobody's going to use 8K in that drone. They're just not. So I don't think that they'll like go like that far to like put like 8K in a drone. But it'd be great to have.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. He was talking about, said $5,000. I said somebody must have brought up interchangeable lenses.
I did.
Yeah, that's true.
Magnetic interchangeable lenses. No tools. Just
he was saying $5,000 just to even think about that.
Rare earth magnets. Hold them on and yay. Quick change.
I think if you're going to release a Mavic 3, I think, whilst I know we've all gone out and spent $1,400, well, I didn't. It was considerably cheaper here. But it is an expensive drone, the FPV. I just don't see people, if they bring out a $2,500 sort of dollar or pound Mavic 3, there will be people that will go out and buy it, but I don't think as many people will go out to buy it, because it's just not going to be available to them. And that will make people think, well, hang on, my Mavic 2 is really good. My Mavic 2 Pro is a really good drone. You're going to have to do something really spectacular to make me want to go out and spend that kind of money on a drone. It has to have something that really sets it apart.
4K 240.
That's why Sean's on the mark too. DJI is going to do something really, really special to get us, because we're so comfortable with the Mavic 2s. We like them. They do everything we need them to do. They have to do something spectacular to get us to be like, yeah, I guess I can. I'm so comfortable with this thing. I guess I can get something new. It's got to be.
Well, they're gonna throw multiple things at us. Like I was saying, 4K 240. 1080 at some ridiculous speed. You can get a hummingbird flapping its wings.
But
4K 60 would be a huge
as much as 4K 60, a lot of people will, but 4K 240, that's only going to be for a few people that are going to want that. I mean, there's lots of.
I'm just saying that they're going to.
But I know
throw
what
a
you
bunch
mean.
of gizmos at us to get.
Yeah.
I think that DJI will continue to de-niche as well. Like with the Mini and then the Mini 2 especially, they've done a fantastic job of hitting consumers full stop with that drone. And it doesn't matter if you're into drones or in the hobby or XYZ. You know, there are so many people I know with that drone that knew nothing about drones before it, and an awful lot of my viewers who are now watching the channel for the drone rule videos, etc., to try and catch up. They're like, "Oops," and I think that DJI will potentially continue to do that and de-niche their marketplaces and make products which are expensive, but that are available and attractive to wider audiences that aren't necessarily just within the hobby. I think that might be down to regulation as well, and the point of view that at some point drones will have to switch from the pilots deciding to stick to the regulations and the drone sticking to the regulations for you. And so I think once that switch happens as well, there's not going to be as much of a hobby as much as there's just going to be people wanting to get cool shots and stuff of them partying on the beach and that sort of thing, etc. And then there'll be the professional, the commercial grade drones separate to that, which is also why I think we're starting to see a line in the sand between those two markets already. And that line isn't blurring; it's getting thicker. But yeah.
Well, didn't you say that too, that the jungle drums of DJI were already starting to signal another new drone on the horizon? And so
yeah, I was surprised that a couple of people that I speak to that have given me information that has panned out in the past. I was surprised that a couple of them, even before this was out, was started to talk about Mavic 3 or whatever that will be. And I didn't, the first guy I kind of laughed at because I thought he was joking. I honestly thought he was joking, and he was sort of a bit like, why are you laughing? And I was like, I didn't think we'd be talking about that thing for a long time, certainly months. But yeah, I have a feeling those nasty leaks that Billy hates might be around the corner.
Well,
I'm wondering if go ahead.
No. The only thing I was going to say, there was a reason I was thinking it was closer than we originally thought, was the fact that they put OcuSync 3 in that FPV drone, and I was like, why? Well, what reason do they really have to put it in there other than to get it ready? Yeah, to get it ready. Yep. And the thing about it is if it's on this drone, and this drone has got sensors to keep it to where we could have a fixed wing setting on this that's going to enable it to fly more like an FPV drone. You never know what's going to be on this new drone, considering what OcuSync 3 is going to have the ability to transmit.
Because the fixed wing mode did a great job in the original Mavic, right? Everybody loved that feature.
Bill, we might not know what's on it, but somebody might.
Yeah.
No, I've got nothing.
Oh no!
Quite frankly,
yeah, but you have to say that.
Quite frankly, I'd be surprised if they came out with something this soon. I mean, they just released the FPV drone. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I could see if they came out with like a new Osmo Action or something like that, or in this case, just an Action.
I'm expecting
this soon.
The Action 2.
I'm expecting an Action 2.
Long overdue, and I think that's going to come for summertime, because that's what everybody gets for the summertime is an action camera or something.
Correct.
Well, I
was thinking it was going to be far off, because the big elephant in the room. What's the big elephant in the room? It's the remote ID stuff. I mean, and the manufacturers, as it is, unless they get an extension here in the United States, they're going to have to comply by, what is it, September 2022, Sean? You can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
And the closer we creep to that, a purchase of, a Mavic 3, they better guarantee that, if this thing, let's say this thing comes out 3 months from now, they better promise this will be remote ID ready in a year.
But they're not doing that over here. But they're not doing that here. We've across the whole of across all 28 member states of the EU and the UK. Now that we're separate from the EU, we have new labeling systems coming in, and you're going to have to label your drones from C0 to C4, which will directly affect who can fly it and where they can fly it. And the legacy period for that runs out at the end of 2022, and there is no sign of it happening. There's no sign of the labels even coming out. So
okay,
Air 2 and Mini 2 on its back. Remember, Air 2, and then 3 months later, Mini 2.
Yeah,
Boom.
But again, I don't necessarily think that at the moment. I think now that the R&D department at DJI are thinking about remote ID and those sort of things. But the guys that are working on the next drone and even perhaps the drone after that, they're not necessarily thinking about those rules and regulations because they know the unit's going to sell anyway, and that yes, there's going to be things going up and down. But the problem is, like our labeling that's been delayed several times, there's nothing saying remote ID won't suddenly hit a wall and have to be delayed another 2 years. And then DJI have changed their entire business plan to try and predict that happening.
Yeah.
They can't wait for regulation to catch up, and they also can't wait for regulation to be predictable and to be reliable. They've just got to get on and make products, basically.
Very true. Yeah, but I mean, if this thing is going to be more expensive, it could be a tough purchase for somebody who's thinking, is that we going to get an extension on the 24 hours before it's time? Or
the biggest thing, remember we talked about somebody being on a list and stockpiling parts. They have a finite amount of parts that they need to sell and get profit on.
Well, that's the other aspect of it.
Yeah, and something else that I can imagine is that maybe if there is something that hits, maybe there's a program where you send it in to make it comply, like send it in, get it upgraded in some way. God, that would be a nightmare for them receiving and shipping back out stuff. Do that.
Yeah, they've actually been talking about that here, actually, Billy, where DJI brought out a blog post for the commercial sector in the EU and the UK, because of course the guys with the larger drones, the enterprises and the matrices, etc., they're saying, hang on, if I buy these things and I can't do my work with it in 12, 18 months time, this is a huge investment for me.
Absolutely.
And they've said that they are going to have a program where you can return it to the dealer, who will do the firmware updates and etc., to then make it compliant. We're fortunate that you don't actually have to have a module for our remote ID yet. That might be coming, but yeah, they were saying that could happen. It's given people a little bit of false hope here that perhaps we could do that with our Air 2s and things, but I can't see them being able to do that function for less than $200-300 perhaps,
yeah, absolutely.
Which of course you're going to send your matrice in to be updated, but that isn't practical for a second-hand Air 2, which is scratch to hell.
Absolutely. I think that
end up forcing people to buy the new drone just by that alone.
There's going to EOL them. There's going to be a lot of rogue flyers, just people not complying. Yes. But then I also wonder if DJI, because they're so proactive, would step in and say, hey, you can't fly. They could easily do that. I mean, they release firmware updates all the time that they say, hey, you got to update before you can fly. So if they put some sort of module in there and they say we can tell if you have it or not, they can easily lock your drone down. So as long as they were able to give I mean, look, I would say if I had a drone and if I had to spend like $80 to do it, I'm like, all right, I might do it if it's like a Mavic Air 2, and I could see that being a viable cost depending upon what needs to happen. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I would love it if DJI had stores. You just walked in there and you could get it done at one of their stores. I'm surprised they haven't done it.
Either this next generation or the one after that, you're going to be able to purchase DJI Remote ID Refresh.
Remote ID refresh. There you go.
Well, didn't the Mavic Pro OG have kind of a remote ID, like a license plate?
They all did. They all.
Yeah, we still got it.
Yeah,
they still do, but it won't be acceptable.
The FAA wants.
It won't be acceptable.
You're right.
They want a module.
Yeah. Yep.
They want a module though, so
I don't know why that won't. I guess maybe it won't do the job.
I think
they need to. Go ahead.
I meant to say this earlier, and this is like totally random, but I think that we can expect to see a mini every year. I think that's going to be a yearly type of thing around the holidays because it's
iPhone refresh, isn't it now? It's the it's the iPhone refreshing.
I mean, there's so many things that were like, yeah, the mini is great, but I wish you could do this going from mini 1 to mini 2. But at this point, I'm like, the mini 2 is already so perfect. They could add obstacle avoidance maybe, and that's probably really the only thing that I'd really say would be huge. But they're going to call something like, "Oh, we didn't think of that."
If you do that, you don't need the FPV drone.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's that little tiny thing. If you got obstacle avoidance on that little thing, you could get. Okay, there we go. We can put a fixed wing flight mode on the Mini 2. That would be cool.
I mean, they really have recently invested in their drone lineup, just with all of the upgrades that have been coming out, which I find pretty interesting. But I'm waiting to see what they're going to do on the camera side of things with that Osmo line that now doesn't have the Osmo name. So we'll see.
What? Okay, here's the thing: is the new Mavic going to be larger or smaller or whatever they call it?
Hopefully.
So here, let's take a poll. If the Mavic 3 offered better specs and it was a little bit larger, would you be okay with it?
Yeah, I would be.
Define a little larger, because I actually avoid the Evo 2 because I feel it's too big for like.
Okay, imagine if it was the size of the Evo 2.
For the Mini?
No, the Mavic 3 or whatever it's going to be.
I'd probably find a way to carry it around, but really the Mavic 2 is a perfect size right now. It's just a little bigger than actually the Mavic Air 2 is really. The Air 2 is sweet.
Well, I'll tell you what about the Evo. It's got a lot of wasted space. It's almost big for no reason in some sense, because the props make it wider. The legs on the front are really big. Yeah. The obstacle avoidance sensors have like these nubs on the outside of them. I'm looking at it right now. It's very big. So I think that they could, DJI's design team is really good. So they could take something about that size and trim it down a little bit, but give us something in a similar package,
aren't they supposedly working on an Evo Mini?
I've heard that forever. I've heard they're working on that and a smart controller, but who knows? That's another thing about that's another thing about buying a drone that's not DJI is like, are they going to support these drones anymore? Like, is Autel even around to support these anymore? Sometimes it seems like they're like asleep at the wheel.
Well, it's a teeny tiny little hole in the wall. I can drive over there and take pictures.
Well, about like
and of course, the problem with Autel is that they are a small cog in their big engine of the business that owns them, and they're only one bad year. They're only one main board decision away from suddenly not having a drone division. It sounds crazy because they are still a big established name, but it can happen. Whereas of course DJI are the drone people. Of course, they're going to be the automated car people in the future, but for now, they are the drone people.
Them and Sony.
Yeah, I was kind of in a back and forth with Xavier, Drone X Factor, on Facebook about the Evo 2 and the Mavic 2 Pro. He's been in favor of the Evo 2 Pro recently, and I told him the price. I mean, look at the price of the Mavic 2 Pro. It's $200 less expensive, and the batteries are $70 less expensive each. I mean, you could buy 4 batteries for this drone for a significantly less amount of money than you would for the Evo 2. I mean, you're almost spending $1,000 on 4 drone batteries, which is a huge cost.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, you do have that little extra flight time and whatever, which is good. But he was trying to argue that B&H Photo has great sales on the Evo 2, and that he picked it up for like $1,500. And I was like, yeah, it's because they're not selling.
Yeah.
Like they're just trying to sell them for whatever they can to clear room on the shelf, because they're just sitting stagnant.
And it also shows what's happening behind the scenes there when you suddenly get a glut of channels being offered these Evos to test this long after launch and everything, and there's suddenly popping up everywhere.
A lot of people are making videos about the Evo 2.
Yeah, and if you listen to them, like Ken Herons and things, where he mentioned it in his video, that unit has to go back. So it's they are sending them these test units, and you think, wow, this is a long time after launch. And I know they've got the I know they've got the units there now, and they had issues with during COVID with manufacture, etc. But you just feel like they had this massive ball of excitement when it was announced, and they sent sort of CES crazy with it, and everyone was like, oh my god, this drone's going to be incredible, and then they just fell off a cliff basically.
They lost the momentum.
And now suddenly we're seeing, it's like, I'm seeing channels that I love, like Ken's and Tech Drone Media and people like that, popping up and saying, hey, we've got the Evo Pro, and we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that. And I kind of feel like when they're holding it and showing it and thinking, but I feel like they're holding old tech now. It's an amazing drone.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I feel like it's been done. It's almost like where are the long term Evo 2 videos, rather than here's a shiny new product. I don't know what it is. Perhaps it's because I'm so indoctrinated into DJI. I don't know, but
that's why I did my video from the standpoint of being, it's not like the Evo 2 Pro is brand new, so I can't just say, oh, this is the new drone, so it's absolutely the best. That's why, being able to kind of compare them a year after having flown both of them pretty substantially, you can kind of see that the Evo's got some pitfalls and the Mavic's got some pitfalls, but it's crazy to think that, they have all this time to come out and create this new drone, and it's like, it's a little bit better than the Mavic when, if it's 2 years older, 2 years newer, it should be like blowing it out of the water.
Exactly. I mean, which again, I think shows the R&D side of things. And this thing, I mean, I haven't even flown it yet, but I looked through this case, and and when you take the battery out of this and you actually look how much space there is in there to do all the things that this thing does, it's just incredible. It's just, absolutely mind-blowing, and it just shows where we're going to be going with these drones in the future, as far as what they can pack into these little spaces, and it's exciting. This feels like a new product, an actual. The minis were great, and I love the Mini 2 100%, but this is this really feels like, that's another reason why I purchased it. Despite not being an FPV guy, because it felt new and exciting, and I unwrapped it. It was like a Christmas present.
Yep, I agree.
The Mini 2 proved that they could fit OcuSync 2 into a tiny package. I think that's what led to this, where you can fit all that stuff in your room.
Exactly.
It's all batteries, all the electronics.
Well, the
package.
The biggest difference between OcuSync 2 and 3, I think, is the antennas. I think that's really what's pushing this, because instead of 2 antennas, now we have 4. Okay. So that's why you're wondering, like, oh, well, how can the remotes, how can these older remotes potentially still connect to OcuSync 3? Because you were talking about, the smart controller. I would say that I think it is more of a matter of what the controller is connecting to. You have more to connect to, so therefore the signal is stronger. That's what I would kind of sum it up to.
Yeah, so I think this thing's going to go. Well, it's already 2.5. It's coming up on 3 years old, isn't it? It came out 2 years ago.
But they bundled that with the Air 2 recently, so I think it's still got some life in it, and I love it with the Air 2. It's just
it's great. I mean, I love my smart controller, but
it's interesting you bring that up, because look at the new Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced that comes with that old Mavic design. You think that they're going to put an old design in a drone that's meant to last for 3 years because people are going to spend more money on it? So who knows if we're even close to a new Mavic 3?
I'm glad you brought that up. I started to earlier, Billy.
Or are they going to change it completely?
Mavic 2 Enterprise, and how they refreshed it with the new FLIR camera that's so much better than the first FLIR camera.
There you go. The Enterprise series is going to be the Mavic line. You're going to turn Mavic's going to evolve into that, and then like Sean's been saying.
But the Phantoms lived a little bit longer, didn't they? With the RTK and with the Enterprise side of things, the Phantom lived on a little bit longer whilst the Mavic was out. So perhaps that could happen. That they could be getting ready for the DJI Billy 3 by moving the Mavic over to the Enterprise side completely in the same way that they've kind of done with the Phantom a little bit. But that's pure fat British bloke speculation.
I'll be honest with you, Matt. I've flown with a tablet and a smart controller, and I'll take the smart controller every time.
Yeah, I agree.
Fire it up, it's wireless. Bam.
I was flying with my 11-inch iPad, and I went to the smart controller, and I will never go back.
Punching my back over to try to use the shadow so that I can actually see what's on the screen.
Exactly.
I mean, Billy, you did the review a long time ago where you showed how long it took to get the smart controller and the Mavic unfolded up in the air. It was like
boom, boom.
But
boom.
you did it.
I love that video.
You did a review recently where is the smart controller still worth it? And you were spot on with that as well. Because it is.
It totally is. And you look
store on mine.
You look at some other products like their what is it? The Matrice 300 uses the smart controller. So are they going to release an updated version of the smart controller? But they're going to sell their highest end drone essentially with it. So.
Yep, very good point.
Yeah, I think there'll be a smart controller too, though. Whether or not I don't know if it'll be backward compatible to OcuSync 2 and have 3. I don't know, but this is I wonder if
it's the components inside of the controller that are need to be upgraded, or if it's in the drone. So
it's running Android 7, which is that's Android 7's kind of dated.
Yes,
but we're on 11 now.
But for what it does, it doesn't really need to be a newer version, except they obviously had issues getting Fly on there. But
it does lack memory.
It's amazing that they got Fly on this thing, because
you can plug an SD.
This is 32-bit. This isn't 64-bit, and I thought Fly needed a 64-bit device. So
they tried to rewrite it.
Billy, I tried to.
So long.
I extracted it from here, and I wanted to use on my Moverio BT300s, and when I brought it over, it wouldn't load in because DJI put something in the APK, so I couldn't. It knows it's looking for an RM500. It's looking for the RM500 and not. I'm sure somebody could hack it though. I'm just not smart enough.
There must be some way around it because somebody in one of the FPV groups claimed that they siphoned that app off of the controller. And he was able to get video out from the DJI goggles using that hacked app. Obviously, he doesn't want to post it.
Maybe it's a DJI device that I don't know. I've tried it, but I tried it with the Epson glasses just for fun because I was curious.
Right. So, and he was able to get the video out from that app with the V1 goggles. So I'm really hoping and praying that maybe the next update to the DJI goggles, they just unlock that and let us get video out to the app. That would be great.
Well, folks, I get the feeling that we could probably sit here and talk all night long, but we're quickly approaching 3 hours.
I ran out of beer though, so you know.
Yeah, and I know Sean's. It's like he's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to go to sleep tonight.
It's tomorrow. Yeah,
it's tomorrow. Stay up now. So, but anyway, this is fantastic. I would like to get everybody together again. Maybe we can talk about this again in 6 months or something like that, and have an update on it.
Next time, could we not have John Cuppi?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you guys think. I can't wait to see what you guys think of the FPV drone because there's a lot of people that had it originally out, but now that it's out there in the wild, I can't wait to see how many crashes there are. But I also can't wait to see what the general consensus is.
That's what me and Nemo can't wait to see.
I don't need to fly it because this alone.
Fire it up.
Here we go.
John, fire yours up to wait in stereo.
Bro, do you have the gimbal guard on? You got to take that off. You got to take the gimbal guard off, man.
There you go. Snap. I heard it come off.
Snap! I heard.
Hang on, here we go. There we go.
It does that stuff. That is cool. I do love that intro.
It's the vibrations.
Oh my god!
Right. It's the vibrations that just make it, and the fact that you can customize
the aggression.
These.
It's the aggression. Vibration.
Who cares how it flies?
I have this twisted vision. You're going to hear the sound of the DJI drone repeatedly turning on and off. And when you finally track it down, you're going to open the door, and suddenly you'll see your wife in the bed going, "Oh, honey, you're home."
I'm gonna make a YouTube Shorts review, and it's just gonna be turning the drone on and off, and that's all.
Yeah, that's it.
It's already been done, Billy. Like every single review video started with the sound of
yeah.
It's so
someone needs to make a YouTube Shorts of an Inspire 2 having a baby, and it's that, and it makes the noise as it drops out.
Yeah, well, it does look like the Inspire 2. It does look like the Inspire 2.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it looks like Alien.
All right.
Predator,
like I said,
Predator.
We'll end up staying again, but I'm very grateful to have everyone here tonight. And I'm going to first off go to Sean and let him say his good evening first.
Okay, good evening. Just next time I have to update my name to Geek Savannah FPV because I am now an FPV pilot, baby.
No, you're not. No.
And Chuck.
Hey, I just want to thank you guys for letting me be on the show with you guys tonight. I'm surrounded by greatness. This is like,
but you're going to be on again next week too.
Cool, but I'm just a little itty bitty channel. But maybe that's going to change. I think that's going to change. Especially
he doesn't mean you, John. By the way,
John's cool. I like arguing with John.
All right, okay, and then I'm going to Keith.
Thanks for letting me come on. This was a bit of a surprise. I really enjoyed it. And yes, again, surrounded by greatness, not worthy.
I know, Keith. I was the same way. I'm like, not worthy.
All right, Billy.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me on. I love talking to you guys about new drones that come out. I feel like it's the only time I come on is when something new comes out, which is pretty often from DJI.
Bullshit! All you gotta do is send me a message and I'll send you a
but I find it really great that you guys already have it. I mean, I thought that it would be something that maybe just like with that Mini 1, how it was like, oh, you can order it now, but it's not going to start shipping for 3 weeks. So the fact that it's out there is great. And again, I can't wait to see you guys flying around. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm checking again to see if those are still available.
I still want to know how to get the Billy Kyle freaking tech support line when I start flying this thing.
That was awesome.
You got to hook me up.
But you don't understand. It was the other way around when Billy started learning FPV. It was the John Cuppi.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. That's the whole thing about this community, though. That's how it works. That's what's so cool about it.
They're still available.
With Ken, I totally dropped the F-bomb with him all the time. But I was at work, I was working, I was shooting a house, and so I couldn't drop the F-bomb, and I was like, thank God, because he's putting in this video. I'd be like, what up?
Oh yeah, when you were talking to Ken, I was like, God, I hope Billy doesn't. I hope he stays clean. I hope he stays clean. It's like
what you don't understand.
It's easy to slip into that groove when you're talking to somebody just like your friends and you guys are chatting and it's like you don't know how to use it.
I'm not like I am in my videos. I don't curse in my videos because it's just unprofessional, and it's like people just want to learn how to fly drones. They don't want to hear me, cursing.
Right.
Yeah, and we've got John Cuppi for people that want to curse in their videos.
Or Ken Dono. Ken Dono, if you want to hear cursing.
Love you, Cuppi.
John, don't you remember when we all first started hanging out? We thought Billy was too clean.
We did, yeah.
I remember to get a couple of
videos. Clean is good. Family friendly.
Hey, I said shit in my video. I said the oh shit button.
He did.
He said the S word. PG-13. That's allowed. I'm not going to do it anymore. It's not crossing.
You don't understand. That's a big deal for Billy to use the S word in a professional video.
That's like 4 years ago, man.
Going through the monetization settings, I put bad language.
That's Ken Dono rubbing off on you, Billy. He's rubbing off on you.
This was before. Don't you remember? That was before.
That was before. What's a better word for the pause button than the oh shit button?
That's kind of it.
No, I love that.
Kind of it. Yeah.
It is oh shit.
I'm gonna get my label maker out and put it on the back. And you know what? Because every time I hit it, it's an oh shit. Yeah, oh shit.
I think that's what we refer to it as.
Billy created the new T-shirt, John. It's gonna. We need to take a picture of the button and put it on the front and just put the oh shit button. The oh shit button.
Nice.
Ask me about the oh shit button.
Yes, there you go. Follow me to the oh shit button.
After my video dropped, I saw some language change on DJI's site talking about a no shit button.
Exactly.
It's catching on.
All right, John. We're going to stay all night. Otherwise, my wife's going to be like, "You're sleeping on the couch because I'm going to bed." John, say your good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. This was absolutely freaking awesome. And Bill, I don't want you to be on the couch, so let's close this down as soon as possible.
All right.
Get the hell out of here.
I want to say thank you very much.
You guys are all awesome, though.
Yes, to each and every one here. But first, I want to give you a preview because I made a new trailer for Run as we're walking out the door. Peace, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Sweet. Oops.
John unmuted. Yes, we do this.
Oh my god.